One insight, Mickey Gray, that was from Erling Haaland a moment ago. And he knew the stats, 18 times caught offside in 3.5 years. I think we underestimate how much players and Erling Haaland study their own game, how much they work on their own game.
And talking about improving himself from the age of 13, which is just phenomenal, really, Adrian. I mean, I can't remember thinking what I was doing when you're 13 years old, but it certainly wasn't that. You just didn't think about stats, but that's how good he wanted to be. I remember Filippo Inzaghi and Alex Ferguson, the quote he said, I think he was born offside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Born in an offside position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sprang to mind as soon as I heard that, and I'm thinking, well, 18 times in 3.5 seasons, that's just, it's unknown.
Bearing in mind how he plays the game and where he plays as well. So only be caught offside that many times it's mind-blowing, really. Yeah. That's how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know he's a phenomenal finisher, but I think he knows himself now. Well, I'm quicker than everybody else. I'm stronger than everybody else. I know that people are going to play the balls in behind a defence, and I know I can get onto 99 out of 100 times. I'm going to get there first because of the pace and the power that I've got. So he doesn't need to be in an offside position. If he works on it, wow, it's paying off because, wow, it's just a phenomenon.
He is a phenomenon, and you would expect him to have a big impact tonight against his old club, as he did when he first faced his old club 3 years ago here. Mickey and I were here for that. The light show is over. You'll have heard the bangs and crashes close to fireworks night behind us, as we were talking about Erling Haaland there. He'll be banging and crashing balls into the back of the net this evening if he's got anything to say about it. This game is Manchester City against Borussia Dortmund, brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. The teams are in the tunnel. The Tunnel Club members are just making their way out to their comfy padded seats here at the Etihad, and the smoke is kind of clearing. Mickey, we talked about Joe Bellingham a little bit earlier with Andy Brassel and about the problems he's facing getting into the team. He's on the bench tonight, and we looked at the mistake he made earlier against Bayern Munich as well. That can't have been good for his confidence at all.
No, absolutely not, Adrian, but I think, he's learning at a good place, isn't he? I mean, he's got his dream move, I suppose. He's playing Champions League football, albeit he's working from the bench tonight, but he's 20 years old. We can't write him off. He's going to make mistakes along the road, and everybody's kind of putting him on the same pedestal as his brother. It's not going to happen. He's got to make that happen himself.
But have Dortmund done that? Because I think they had this dream that they were going to get another Jude Bellingham, but you've seen him play for Sunderland many times, Joe Bellingham, and he isn't Jude, is he?
No, absolutely not. I suppose they're different players, albeit they play in similar positions. But I think Jude's just on another level to what Job is, absolutely. But, we're not to know what he's going to be like in the next 2 or 3 seasons. They've got a good player. They've got to turn him into a great player, and he's not quite there yet. He
isn't. Joe Bellingham is on the bench this evening as the team's weights come out. Borussia Dortmund fans jumping up and down, making the noise over to our right-hand side. They love an away trip. So many teams from the continent, when they come to England, absolutely make the most of the journey, make the most of the occasion. Whether they win, lose or draw, they make the most of it. So much noise around the Etihad because of the Dortmund fans right now as the teams make their way out from the bottom of the steps in the tunnel out towards the pitch for this UEFA Champions League tie as Manchester City take on Borussia Dortmund. 2 goals already in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich City 0 we heard about. Preston have taken the lead against Swansea as well. They're going really well, Preston North End. Jerry Small signed from Charlton in the summer with the goal. Forest, Villa and Palace all involved in European action tomorrow, and all 3 games are live on the Talksport network. Newcastle against Bilbao on Talksport 2 is going to kick off in a few minutes. Tonight we've got comedy for you on Talksport. Erling Haaland, he's a total joke. It's him and City against his old club Borussia Dortmund, and it's live on Talksport with a man who played Champions League for Celtic, Mickey Gray, alongside your commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Yes, good evening everyone. Welcome to a rather smoke-filled Etihad Stadium. The smoke from the smoke machines which were sent onto the pitch to try and highlight the laser show that happens before the match has settled right in the middle of the playing surface. You can just about see the big City banners doing the rounds on the other side from us, and the rippling Champions League ball in the middle of the park. Away to our right, a big banner has been stretched from second tier to bottom tier. It quite simply says, Erling the Great. High profile, high stakes, high end. In form, Manchester City take on Borussia Dortmund, a team that have dazzled in the Champions League so far. 19 goals have been scored in their 3 matches in this competition, with former star Erling Haaland in the City ranks and City's defence not impenetrable. The chance of this clash lacking entertainment appears remote. Dortmund have sharpened their defensive nous in the last few weeks, and they might have come here to spoil, but you keep trying to keep a bloke like Erling Haaland quiet and keep failing, because he's scored 26 goals for club and country, and that's before bonfire night. More fireworks to come, I would have thought. Arsenal, Tottenham and Liverpool all start the night inside the top 8. Manchester City can finish the night inside the automatic qualification places if they win here tonight. Dortmund sit 3rd in the Bundesliga after the weekend, City 2nd in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola's side will be determined to continue a bit of momentum that they've built up over the last few weeks. Defeat to Aston Villa, Mickey Gray, is the only loss since August, and they have won 9 of their last 12 in all competitions.
Well, evening, Sam, evening, everybody. Yeah, look, everybody keeps writing Manchester City off and saying, you know, they're not the perfect 11 that are going to go on and win the Premier League, or they're going to win the Champions League. We're all looking for flaws, but Pep Guardiola quietly and his team are going about their business and they're getting the job done, and I'm sure by the time we get to the end of this group stage, or league if you like, City will be there or thereabouts.
Well, Manchester City have made 3 changes from the weekend win over Bournemouth. Borussia Dortmund alter 5 from the win over Augsburg. The only defeat they've suffered this season is at the hands of Bayern Munich, who were excellent last night. They go over to support their fans that have made the journey over away to our right-hand side. They're wearing yellow shirts and black shorts, yellow socks, and attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. Manchester City in their home kit of light blue jerseys, white shorts and light blue socks, shooting from left to right in the first half. Donnarumma is the goalkeeper, Nunez, Stones, Bardiol and O'Reilly right to left, the back 4. Gonzalez anchors the midfield with Foden and Reinders. Savinho plays on the right, Doku on the left, and captain Erling Haaland leads the line. Korbel is the goalkeeper for Borussia Dortmund. Is the back 3 of Schlotterbeck, the captain Anton and Ben Sebaini. Svensson is the right wing back, Ryerson is the left wing back, Sabitzer and Metcher in the middle, Adeyemi and Bayer behind Guirassy in attack. Simon Marciniak of Poland blasts his whistle, and we're underway in the Champions League. On Talksport 2 right now, Newcastle in action against Athletic Club of Bilbao. We've already built up to a big night of Champions League action with the boys on drive, and brought you Chelsea's disappointment in Qarabag. Tomorrow, 3 live games from the Europa and the Conference League. And by the way, we aren't finished there. This is Talksport. We do what it says on the tin. It's all the football, all the time, and we love it as much as you do. Savinho on the near touchline has the ball tight towards the white line. He's dispossessed by Ben Sebaini. It's Metcher into the central position looking for Sabitzer, and Borussia Dortmund come down the right-hand side with Ryerson onto Adeyemi, who just cuts in onto his left foot, looks up and then tucks it back into the heart of defence. This is Schlotterbeck wearing 4 and the captain's armband strapped to his left bicep. It's taken on by Svensson and sent further down the left-hand side to Bayer, and then it's cut back towards Schlotterbeck, who plays a no-look pass into Svensson once again, and Bayer, long and rangy, delivers a cross in towards the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Gvardiol. Here's Mickey Gray.
Oh, what a start from Borussia Dortmund. Don't think City have actually got out of their own half at the moment, and they're just about now having their first touch of the ball. It's great to see an away side coming here and showing the confidence that Dortmund have certainly showed so far in the early stages. And I think we're in for a game tonight. I really do, Sam.
Ball sent back towards Gregor Korbel, the goalkeeper who started every Champions League game this season, the Swiss international. Kept a clean sheet on his last appearance against Manchester City. That'll be some task if he achieves it tonight. Guirassy takes it down and tries to run out to the far side, being tracked by Gonzalez. They drop to the halfway line, wide on the Borussia Dortmund right. Guided back towards the edge of the penalty area, where it's collected by Anton, then sent wide to Ryerson. Metcher tries to turn. Former Manchester City youth team player is Metcher, Felix Metcher, brother of the Leeds United striker Lucas Metcher. Adeyemi is onside here as the long ball's played down the right-hand side, and O'Reilly has to read it. Does well. tucks it off of Adeyemi. It goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left. But as you said, the opening few minutes of the game, Mickey Gray, 2.5 of them we've had so far, 0-0 the score, have belonged to Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, absolutely, Sean. No fear, confidence on the ball, trying to get in behind Manchester City. And if you think there is a weak link in maybe inexperience in Nico O'Reilly, I think you will see Dortmund trying to play that long diagonal ball, maybe just to try and get in behind.
The smoke from the pyrotechnics to build up to the match that cloaks this arena just before kick-off is just starting to lift very slowly in the cool Manchester air. It's been a mild day in the northwest. Ball tucked back by Svensson. Borussia Dortmund have possession again. Forward by Anton into Guirassy. He was nudged off the ball by Gonzalez. Fair tackle, says the referee. Before Doku can escape, it's won back by Ryerson. He's letting a couple of things go, is the Pole Marciniak. And Borussia Dortmund are benefiting. Down the left now, they tuck it to Bayer. Bayer from Svensson, then back into the central position of Mecha. Mecha waits, looks up, plays it infield, gives it to Sabitzer, formerly of Manchester United, and then back via Ben Sebaini all the way into the centre circle. Playing with confidence and swagger here as they clip the ball from right to left, out towards Bayer, a little bit too high even for him, and he's very tall, and it comes off his chest and pops out for a throw-in in the right full-back position for Manchester City. 0-0.
Well, I tell you what they've done well so far, Dortmund, is they've overloaded that midfield area and trying to stop Manchester City every time they have had possession of the ball. And when it does fall to one of Dortmund's centre halves, they get their head up and they do look for that diagonal pass, because City's fullbacks are staying nice and tight and narrow, and that's where the space is at the moment for Dortmund to try and capitalise.
And many people who maybe haven't seen Manchester City on a regular basis this season will think that this is an odd situation for a team to take the game to Manchester City. It's not as odd as it used to be. Manchester City have started to give up a little bit more of the ball, Mickey Gray, in recent months, and been a little bit happier to soak up a bit of pressure and hit on the counter-attack. What they don't want to do is give the ball away, as Nunez has now, on the edge of his own penalty area, to Guirassy, down the left, Bayer into the centre. It's a poor ball, which cannons off Nico Gonzalez and goes out for a throw-in down by the corner flag away to our left, 0-0.
Well, they've just not settled, City. They've not got into their flow yet, and it's all down to the way that Dortmund have pressed them really hard, won the ball back high, but you cannot keep giving the ball away like Nunez has just done then and give Dortmund the opportunity. Well, it looks like we're going to see another long throw.
Yeah, that was a sloppy pass back by Nunez, and it's yielded a long throw for Borussia Dortmund, the away team. Down away to our left, a long throw in towards the 6-yard box. It's clipped forward by Adeyemi after the initial clearance. It's bouncing around inside the 6-yard box, and across goes Gvardiol. He heads it clear out towards the right, and then it's further cleared by Matthias Nunez. They didn't have as much of the ball against Bournemouth at the weekend, but took their chances on the counter-attack. It might be a similar formulation today. Here's Adeyemi again down the left, lovely cross into the near post, away by Gvardiol, who stations himself perfectly in front of Guirassy, and then the ball is picked up by Savinho. Lovely reverse pass, charging forward is Reinders, holds off the challenge of Bayer, comes infield and plays it wide towards the left. City come forward with Doku over on the far side. He twists, turns, plays the ball into the centre, looks to flip it towards the far post. No one can get the finishing touch, and it whistles past that left hand upright and goes out and away for a goal kick. The first flash of City brilliance comes after 6 minutes. It's still 0-0.
It's sharp, it's crisp, what you want to see from City's midfield. The interchanging of passing, that play out to the left-hand side with Doku in a 1v1 situation, just looking for that half a yard for anybody to get a slightest little nick to poke it towards that Dortmund goal, but that is better from the home team.
In the Championship, Preston 1, Swansea 0, QPR 0, Southampton 0, Sheffield Wednesday lead Norwich, and Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0, kicked off at 8 o'clock. In the Champions League, Club Brugge have taken the lead against Barcelona. That's the only goal we've got so far. Chelsea dropped points away at Karabag earlier on Talksport 2. Here is Bayer picking the ball up for Borussia Dortmund. They've had a lot of possession in the opening few minutes of the game. We're up to 7 now. It's goalless on Talksport, bringing you Newcastle against Athletic Bilbao on Talksport 2 right now. Just get our app, you can flick between the two stations. We'll have all the fallout with the boys on breakfast from 6 o'clock, and remember the sports bar open for business with the rather lively Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 10 o'clock tonight, or when we finish here. Here is Nunez into Savinho. Wasn't a great tackle that by Ben Sebaini from the wrong side, and he gave away a foul about 15-20 yards inside the Manchester City half, wide on this right-hand side. But it's been a sharp, fast start to the game. We thought it might be, and it should be a stern test, really. Manchester City haven't been putting teams away, with the exception of Burnley and Wolves, and Dortmund have weapons. The wing-backs, particularly, very dangerous. Guirassy is a goal machine. Mecha in midfield can strike from distance. Adeyemi is a fierce competitor with the ability to produce a decent cross into the box. 0-0 the score. Stones floats a pass out from the edge of his own penalty area towards Nico O'Reilly, into Gvardiol. Gvardiol's ball is short and eaten up by Mecha. That's allowed him to release Adeyemi, who's starting to run into the penalty area down the right side, taking on Gvardiol, looking to find Guirassy. Might come back out towards a yellow shirt. O'Reilly and Gvardiol getting each other's way. Eventually Gvardiol takes charge, finds Doku, but still Manchester City cannot get it clear. They're being hemmed into their own half of the field. Mickey Gray.
Well, so I've got to say City look really flaky and nervy at the back. And the first question I ask is why is Ruben Diaz not playing tonight in a game of this magnitude? It's a huge one for Nico O'Reilly. I was expecting Gvardiol to move across to that left-hand side and Stones and Diaz to be both your centre-halves again. Look, the balls are playing across their own 18-yard area at the moment. They're giving the ball away and they're going to have to work ever so hard to create some space tonight, because Dortmund are on the front foot and they're making it difficult for City.
Well, it's a terrific start by the away team. Can they maintain this intensity and energy? Here is Reinders up to O'Reilly, who takes a couple of steps forward with the ball and charges up to the Borussia Dortmund penalty area. Releases Foden, tries to pull it back through the 6-yard box, and before Gregor Kobel, the goalkeeper, in his bright orange goalkeeping jersey, can smother the ball, Schlotterbeck takes charge and smashes it out to the far side and away for a throw. 1-1. Ferran Torres for Barcelona levels things up away at Club Brugge in the Champions League. It's 0-0 here, and so far the away side have had the bulk of possession. Just 28% of it has belonged to Manchester City. That's just creeping up a little bit now as Savinho comes to the edge of the area. It bounces into the path of Foden on his left foot, drives it goalwards, it's saved, it comes down to Savinho, he puts it over the top. He was offside anyway, it wouldn't have counted. But as the ball came nicely to Foden inside the D, his left-footed shot rammed at the goalkeeper, who could only parry. It came out to Savinho and he steered it over the top, Mickey.
Brilliant. That's what you want from Phil Foden. He's so good at getting that little half a yard, the little chop, the drop of the shoulder, laces through it. I mean, it's a comfortable save in the end, isn't it, from the goalkeeper, Kobel? But Phil Foden, absolutely brilliant. I love to see him playing in that pocket. Savinho has got to get his head up like he has just done. And what I did like was his reaction after the save. Yes, he's offside, but he's in there trying to poke the ball into the net.
I'll tell you what, we're at Manchester City tonight, the Etihad Stadium, and I thought, it sounds very loud in my ears here tonight. Is this my headphones turned up or something? And I took them off just to see. Atmosphere's great, isn't it? Really big atmosphere for a big night of Champions League football. The Borussia Dortmund fans doing their best and the City fans responding. Here is Adeyemi over on the right-hand side, trying to cut in and beat O'Reilly, goes on the outside, gets to the byline, produces a cross, it's towards the far post, it's flicked away by Nunez before it can reach Bayer. He can't control, and City bring it clear. Reinders up into Haaland, who's dropped deep. I think that's one of his first touches of the ball so far, and we've played 11 minutes on Talksport. We're live here at the Etihad Stadium, and it's 0-0. That was his first touch of the football. Stones into Reinders, trying to flick it forward, looking for the run of Foden. Sabitzer spreads the play from the centre circle, angles the ball out to the right wing position. Adeyemi chasing fiercely. O'Reilly dragging his shirt, holding on to him. Actually, I think that was a foul by Nico O'Reilly. He was holding with two hands the base of Adeyemi's shirt from behind. And a little concerned, the figure of Pep Guardiola on the near touchline, just standing in a suit tonight on the edge of his technical area with polished brown brogues, shining under the floodlights here in East Manchester. Newcastle United lead by a goal to nil. 2025 getting better and better and better for Dan Burn, who scored in a cup final. He's scored in the Champions League now against Athletic Bilbao for his hometown team. Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao 0 over on Talksport 2. Here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, well, again, you say City are growing into the game now. We've touched on it on a couple of occasions, Sam, over Nico O'Reilly. alongside Adeyemi. I think that's going to be a huge test for the young man tonight, and he does need some help, whether it's going to come from Nico Gonzalez shifting across that left-hand side, or is Jeremy Doku going to help him out a little bit? Because in a 1v1 situation, I think Adeyemi's got by him on a couple of occasions to put some decent balls into the area.
Well, it's funny. I mean, we've spoken to him, obviously, and I remember an interview we did on Talksport prior to his first England call-up. I think Angelina Kelly did that interview. I think he said at the time, in the end, you just become what you play. And he's been playing left-back for most of his first-team Manchester City career. He's not an out-and-out left-back. He's a midfield player, further forward midfield player as well by trade. But he played 10 games at left-back last season. He has started 9 of the last 12, and he usually plays in that left full-back position now.
Well, it's what Pep does, isn't it? I mean, if we go inside, I mean, Josko Gvardiol, who's a left-back, he's played left-back so many times for Manchester City. Yes, he's playing centre-half, and he has done for a couple of weeks now. But I think just getting into that starting 11, game time is what these players want, certainly when you're a young man.
I don't think O'Reilly's complaining, do you?
No, absolutely not. And I have to say,
good at it.
He was brilliant at the weekend as well. He got his goal and he was outstanding.
Well, we did get a 0-0 between this lot a couple of years ago. Dortmund have only conceded 3 goals in the last 8 matches in the Bundesliga. Niko Kovac has just tried to solidify them a little bit. Well, their best form of defence so far tonight has been attack. They've been on the front foot. They haven't let Manchester City have the ball. But City just, for the first time really, enjoying a spell of possession. But they gift that away. It's Nunez again. Ben Sebaini high up the pitch, putting pressure on him to funnel back. And he was a little bit over-aggressive there, Ben Sebaini. Gives away a free kick in the right full-back area as Manchester City look at it. And they start to build again. It's goalless on Talksport with Champions League football live for you tonight with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Savinho trying to get through on goal, and he's brought down by Svensson. There was a covering defender, but it was a poor challenge. Svensson was favourite to win that. Didn't get hold of the ball. Savinho went inside him, put on the accelerator, and almost went beyond Svensson. He completely mistimed his challenge, and he just took his legs away. He was very fortunate that Schlotterbeck was up alongside him, because in any other circumstances, without Schlotterbeck there, that would have been a red card. Yeah,
completely right. If Schlotterbeck isn't there, Sam, I think we are seeing a red card in this game. And it was really poor defending from Svensson. He was the favourite as that ball got played in behind and inside of him. All he had to do was get his body in front of Savinho. Just got it completely wrong, then panicked and had to pull the wide player down.
Free kick to Manchester City. It's 7 yards back from the edge of the area. It's a 4-man wall right inside the box. And it's Foden to take it, left-footed, round the wall, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. It was a bit low, actually, at about mid-height, around about hip height. And it was an easy catch because it bounced in front of Kobel, but didn't have enough pace to go beyond him. And it remains 0-0. This is Talksport. Wednesday night Champions League action for you. Thursday night Europa League and Conference League action is coming your way. Championship Friday, double header of Premier League on Saturday. We've got Tottenham, Manchester United, always a classic Premier League game, and Chelsea against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Who's in charge of Wolves now, Mickey? You got another new manager? You're going to put your hat in the ring for that one?
Everybody keeps turning it down.
You fancy it?
I might put my name in the hat.
Why not? Here is Schlotterbeck inside the centre circle. Nudging it forward is Ryerson. Ryerson up to Anton, then out to the wide right position, and Adeyemi trying to take on Gvardiol. Does well there to hold him up. He got a little bit of help there, O'Reilly, from Gvardiol. I think that might be the process, actually. Gonzalez dropping in a little bit deeper, and got Gvardiol going out there to give him a bit of a hand. Doku comes more centrally, moves the ball out to the right side, scampering down the right touchline midway inside the Dortmund half is Savinho, gets across in low, hits Svensson, goes behind and away for the first corner of the game.
Well, Savinho has, in a 1v1, he's got the beating of Ben Sebaini. He's got to try and go on the outside of him, use his pace. When he does that, he looks such a threat with his right or his left foot. But you can see City are now starting to move the ball a lot quicker.
Well, Haaland right by the goalkeeper for this corner kick, which is going to be taken by Foden. It's delivered towards the near post. Gvardiol went up, it was cleared away, comes back to Reinders. He smashed it through the 6-yard box. It actually went right through the box. Looked like he was trying to shoot initially, but I don't know if it was a cross. Either way, it didn't come off, and it goes out by the corner flag and away for a Dortmund throw.
Yeah, I don't think you can fault Reinders in that situation there. He's just basically got his head down. He's tried to catch it and connect with his weaker left foot, I suppose, and he has aimed for goal, but he's just got it a little bit wrong. But you're just hoping somebody can just poke a foot out. But he started the brightest, I have to say, Reinders, for City. He looks very lively.
Carlos Forbes has just scored for Club Brugge. One of the fastest players you'll ever see, by the way, Carlos Forbes. Scored for Club Brugge against Barcelona, 2-1 the score. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, didn't Carlos Forbes, wasn't he at Wolves at one stage?
Probably.
I'm sure he was. Here is Mecha, back into Anton, he clears away. He was, 10 games unknown last season, I thought he was. Former Manchester City player, Carlos Forbes. Here is Guirassy, down the left-hand side, looking to bound forward into the left wing position. He tries to take on Nunez. He cuts it back into midfield where Mecha is waiting for it. 10 yards outside the box now, Guirassy gets it back again. Nico Gonzalez, who he's just started to find his rhythm in that position as the anchor of midfield. It took him a little bit of time. Manages to win it, sends Savinho away. He dances down the touchline, he gets the better of Ben Sebaini once. Ben Sebaini didn't quite like that, and as he chopped back in on his left foot, 15 yards inside Borussia Dortmund territory, he's upended by Ben Sebaini, and that's going to be a free kick.
Well, it's clever play again, isn't it, from Savinho, just taking the pressure off his back line, and very cute taking on two players. Ben Sebaini, that's on 2 or 3 occasions now. You can see he's getting a little bit frustrated. He wants to get in the opposition's half, Ben Sebaini. He's not able to do it.
O'Reilly bursting forward. He gets up towards the midpoint of the Dortmund half. He feeds it into Reinders. Out to Doku. Doku infield to Gonzalez, who strikes it from the edge of the area. Took a little flick, goes out to the far side. There's a foul inside the penalty area. Free kick is given in Dortmund's favour. And takes the pressure off the Dortmund defence, who haven't really had to deal with too much apart from an effort from range from Phil Foden, which yielded an offside flag and a tame free kick. But it's 0-0 here at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. Niko Kovac in charge of Borussia Dortmund, experienced coach, former Croatia coach, did well at Frankfurt, went to Bayern, probably too big for him at the time, headed to Monaco, then Wolfsburg, and has taken charge of this club in not too distant past. He ended up walking through the door in January, his first game in February, after they fired Nuri Sahin. Be interesting to see whether or not the energy that Borussia Dortmund have showed so far they can keep up throughout the game. They have had an extra couple of days rest than Manchester City. They played Friday night, Manchester City played Sunday, hence why Pep was so determined that his players recover properly. He gave them a day off yesterday, basically. He said, no training, we'll train in the morning, don't worry about it.
Well, it's about keeping it free. I think this is a big week for Man City, Sam, I really do.
Massive,
we started, obviously,
massive.
I mean, you're talking about the atmosphere here tonight. Just wait till you hear it on Sunday. When you hear it, it's just going to be absolutely incredible. But I think they know the importance of this. I keep going back to this league, the Champions League, the new set-up, if you like, the second season into it. Teams want the points on the board. They want the points on the board for the first 5 or 6 games to get as many as they possibly can and hopefully be able to make changes in the final 2.
And the big boys keep winning, don't they? You know, Arsenal winning last night, PSG beaten by Bayern last night. Bayern doing particularly well, I thought, in that game. It was a terrific contest. Liverpool winning last night against Real Madrid. It was a good and timely performance for Liverpool, who come here on Sunday. Game Day Live comes here from Sunday, 1:30. Remember, Saturday's a massive day. It always is on Talksport. Premier League commentary, Adrian round the grounds. Premier League commentary again. Here's Savinho, fed by Foden, down the right side, gets into the box, flicks it through the penalty area. Oh, it's just behind Haaland. It goes right through the 6-yard box and behind the Norwegian and out the other side. He scurries, retrieves it. And they stay on the attack, Manchester City. 0-0 the score, 22 minutes gone. This is Talksport. It's collected in the middle of the Dortmund half by Nico Gonzalez, out wide by Nunez, into the right touchline now, and it's picked up by Savinho. Savinho comes infield. Nunez has got it once again, chest puffed out, shirt untucked at the waist, finds the elegant John Stones. He in turn finds Reinders, pocket of space for Foden. He gets it onto his left foot, drives it to the far corner. It's a world-class finish from a super player. I love scoring against this mob. He's got winners twice against Dortmund in the past, but that's an absolute cracker. On on the edge of the D, left-footed. He has caressed that into the bottom corner. No wonder his teammates are chased after him to hug him. A geezer pops out of the crowd, gets his phone out and takes a selfie. That's priceless. So was the finish. City 1, Borussia Dortmund 0.
It's brilliant from Phil Foden. He's looked really lively on that little half pivot on this occasion. As soon as the ball's played into him, he knows what's over his shoulder. He's already had that look, but he's got so much space in that little gap he loves to find. But when he shifts it onto his left foot, he uses the defender, Schlotterbeck, just to curl it around him into the corner, past Kobel. Beautiful from Phil Foden, and what a start from Man City.
That's a cracking finish, that. He looked up, he saw the gap, he bent it, it was only tiny, he found it. It was like threading the eye of a needle. It's a brilliant goal, a super finish. He just pushed it into the far corner. It bounced a couple of times before it went in. It was unreachable for Kobel, and it was pretty as a picture.
There was just no panic, was there, Sam, from Phil Foden. When he got into that area, you would see midfield players would maybe snatch at it, but he kept his calm. It's just fantastic. I believe that's his first Champions League goal of the season.
Here is Sabinho, right side, trying to send the ball into the box, but Borussia Dortmund get back. Doku tries to take on Ryerson over on the far side now. He gets hold of the ball down by the corner flag, then turns it back towards the edge of the penalty area, funnels it up to Nico O'Reilly, and then it's picked up by Gvardiol. Manchester City 1, Borussia Dortmund 0. Here comes Reinders, the goalkeeper comes out, takes out Reinders, the ball's loose inside the penalty area, it's crossed into the box, Schlotterbeck away. I wonder whether or not VAR will look at that, Mickey Gray, because that looked like a reckless challenge from the goalkeeper, and I don't think he got the ball. Surely it's a head injury, surely he's got to stop the game. Reinders is down inside the penalty area. Now eventually Marciniak does blow his whistle, and treatment can be given. I think maybe he's hurt his shoulder here. Well, he did get to the ball first, Kobel, to be fair, just about. It was a high foot from Reinders. They both connected with the ball at exactly the same time. And VAR will not be looking at this. And Reinders gets back to his feet.
Yeah, well, thankfully, Reinders is back on his feet. But you're right, Sam, Kobel does. He makes contact with it before Reinders. And I think because his foot's so high, I mean, there's a nice coming together between the goalkeeper and Reinders there just a moment ago as well, which is nice to see. But I love the bravery. Reinders trying to get in behind his back line of Dortmund. But you can see now they're starting to break them down little by little, getting behind them.
I think roll that back. Both players deserve credit for their bravery.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper coming out in those circumstances to try and fist the ball away from that high foot that was dangling from Reinders. They both connected at the same time. The referee was right to play on and not call a foul on either side. And actually, I don't think it was a head injury, which is why he initially played on. I think in the end he thought, because Reinders was down for so long, he'd better check on it. Here is Sabinho down the right-hand side, taking on Ben Sebaini. Low cross into the centre, steered away by a stretching Schlotterbeck. And for the last 5 minutes or so, Mickey Gray, Borussia Dortmund are on the back foot, being stretched all over the place by the movement, pace and tempo of Manchester City.
Yeah, they certainly are. And I think it's coming through Phil Foden with a wonderful goal. But Savinho down this right-hand side, he's been electric against Ben Sebaini. He just can't live with him in a 1v1 situation. He's getting the better of him every single time. Keep giving him the ball.
Sabitzer up to Adeyemi. Gvardiol is being quite adept at putting his body in between ball and man, and draws the foul. Free kick on the left edge of the area. Well, since the start of the 23-24 season, Phil Foden has scored 10 goals from outside the penalty box for Manchester City in all competitions. That's the most of any player for Premier League clubs in this time. That was such a good goal.
It was fantastic. First Champions League goal this season as well. And he's done it on 2 or 3 occasions, Sam. He's just looking over his shoulder. He's getting on the pivot. And when he does that, there's no better player when you give Phil Foden space outside of the edge of the 18-yard area. What a beautiful finish as well.
Well, Pep's men beat Napoli on day 1 before they drew in Monaco in dramatic circumstances. They swept past an average Villarreal. It hasn't been perfect in the Champions League by any stretch of the imagination, but it's been a hell of a lot better than last year's league phase shambles. Here's Haaland bullying his way through, finding the ball on the edge of the area, and it's steered over the top by O'Reilly. Well, it was a wonderful run by Haaland, who went charging through down the left side of the box. He bullied his way to the edge of the box. Instead of shooting, he decided to square it for O'Reilly, who'd made a in-to-out run on a penalty spot. He smashes the ball high. I think Kobel actually got a touch on that and tipped it over.
Yeah, it's a good save from the goalkeeper, but Erling Haaland, just having a quick look, Sam, before that run from Haaland into the 18-yard area, he touched the ball 3 times. He's just not interested unless he's scoring goals, but when he does switch it on, my goodness, he's just a powerhouse.
Here's the corner, far side, 1-0 to Manchester City, half an hour gone. It's towards the penalty spot, headed away by the Dortmund defence, back in by Reinders, cleared by Schlotterbeck, who gets it up over the halfway line and into the Portuguese international Matheus Nunes, who feeds it down the right to the Brazilian Savinho, who runs at pace into the penalty area, takes on Ben Sebaini. His cross takes a deflection, he's a little bit loose, Kobel has to push it away, comes back out to the left hand side, and Doku, who beats the defender, low ball into the box. Here's Haaland! It's another record, another goal, another big Manchester City moment finished off by Erling Haaland. He said it himself, he lives for football, he lives for scoring goals. It's another day, another record, another goal. The first player to score in 5 consecutive Champions League games for 3 different clubs is, of course, Erling Haaland. Brilliant run by Doku, down the left, gets to the byline after beating the defender, squares it back to Haaland, and he's not missing from 10 yards out. It's 2-0.
Well, what do you say? I mean, we're running out of superlatives, aren't we, for Erling Haaland? But if you're going to pick or you're going to mark somebody inside of the 18-yard box as a defender, the first person I'm looking for is Erling Haaland. He's got acres of space. It's brilliant from Doku. Wonderful pullback. But Haaland, 3-4 yards of space. You know exactly where the ball's going to end up. It's a great finish, it's great movement, but the defender from Dortmund on that second goal is very, very poor.
What a fantastic turn around by Manchester City, who are on the hunt for another one here. Foden into the area, trying to pull the ball through the 6-yard box. Do you know what? For the first 15 minutes of this game, Borussia Dortmund were making it very difficult for Manchester City to get out of their own half. In the last 15 minutes of the game, Manchester City have been irresistible, Mickey Gray.
They've been sensational, they really have. And I have to say, Sam, I think coming into this game, I did worry for Borussia Dortmund defensively. They look vulnerable, they look like they're a team you can score goals against, albeit they score them at the other end. But, you know, they're coming up against real quality in a side like Man City tonight. And if they're at it, they're at it. And I mean, they've scored 2 already. You can expect them to score more goals in this game, because at the back they look a little bit nervy now. Certainly down this left-hand side, Ben Sebaini and obviously Svensson, who has got a yellow card already. I do worry for them.
6 minutes, 26 seconds between the 2 goals for Manchester City, who may have been behind the 8 ball for the first 15 minutes, but they certainly aren't anymore. And they do rely on Erling Haaland to come up with the goals. I mean, the biggest surprise about the first one is that it wasn't him who scored it, really. He's now scored 18 of their 33 goals in all competitions this season. Here's Sabitzer up towards Guirassy, and there was a little bit of a late kick out on Jeremy Doku there from Guirassy, and that's going to result in a free kick just 6 yards outside the penalty area away to our left-hand side. It's Manchester City 2, Dortmund 0. On Talksport in the Champions League, this game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football.
Do you know, Sam, there's been a lot of conversations, as I think, since Erling Haaland came to Manchester City of what numbers he's actually going to reach by the end of his career. You know, he's signed that long contract, hasn't he? Well, you look at his Champions League, 54 Champions League goals in 52 games. It's not what Messi's done, Ronaldo, any striker, any world-class striker you can think of. He's rewriting the history books at the moment, and it just don't see where it's going to end.
But it must be frustrating for everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because he's just so good.
He's just born to score goals.
He certainly is. Here come Borussia Dortmund away to our left-hand side. And it's picked up eventually by Schlotterbeck after a foul on Doku, who has just recovered. I mean, I was looking at some of his statistics. If you think this season, this is his 14th appearance for Manchester City. He's got 18 goals. He's got 27 goals this season for club and country. He's making his 160th appearance for Manchester City today. That was his 142nd goal. I mean, talk about hogging the limelight. Here is Foden sending the ball from left to right. A lovely pass into Savinho's got space to run into on the Manchester City flank. He gets to the edge of the area, pokes it in towards Reinders. Good save. Haaland tried to react. Koval parried it. Haaland tried to head it back from whence it came, but it was a little bit too high for him. Went over the crossbar. But Reinders picking up a little bit of space on the edge of the penalty area there, and that's what Gonzalez's position allows them to do. The fact that he will anchor the midfield allows Foden and Reinders to get up and support Erling Haaland and just pop up in those pockets of space on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I mean, the movement's terrific. It really is. And I know he's rotated his squad tonight, Pep. He's made those changes just to keep things fresh. And there's times, Sam, over the years, I think you come to the Etihad, and to be honest with you can get bored at times.
Adeyemi running brilliantly out towards Guirassy, and then his ball out to Bayer was too heavy, and it went out of play away to our left-hand side. I think you're absolutely right. There have been times when we sat here and we've known before we've even started that Manchester City are going to win. It's great, actually, when you're a little bit unsure about it and then they turn it on and show you they can still do it.
Yeah.
This has been fun, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Every single minute of this, albeit the start that Dortmund made in the game, they made it look bright. It looked as if they were here to win the football match. But then it's like they just turn a tap on City and they go through the gears, and it's just wonderful to watch. And I say about being bored when you come here because the expectation was just going to win the game. Tonight they had to work for it early doors, but my goodness, they've gone into fifth gear right now.
Lovely touch by Savinho down this right-hand side. He takes on Svensson, gets to the penalty area, has the ball nabbed. Bayer picks it up. There's a player down inside I think it's Ryerson who's down inside the Manchester City half of the field. He's got a big problem. They want him to kick the ball out. Eventually they will. I'll let you just ponder something as we go off to Loftus Road, because I've just seen a couple of replays of that Guirassy incident with Doku. I think that was way above the ankle and could have been looked at by VAR as a possible red card for serious foul play. Come back and talk to you about that in just a moment. Here's Ian Abrahams with half-time from the Championship.
QPR 0, Southampton 0. QPR with a couple of efforts. Madsen shot blocked and just over the top from near Morrison. At the other end, Southampton have looked more solid at the back going forward, have rarely threatened Paul Nardi's goal. At the break, no fireworks here. QPR 0, Southampton 0.
Get yourself to a ground where you can see fireworks before the match. You can double up. You won't have to bother going to one of those boring displays with the kids. Let's go off to Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday, Alan Briggs.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0. It wasn't only Barry Bannon's 25-yard goal that was special, also the swaggering performance of his team in this first half. Bannon close to another as well. Sargent and Schwartau with chances for Norwich, but generally they've been outplayed and outrun, worrying for them. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, Norwich having a really bad time of it at the moment. I know that Dean Ashton had some interesting things to say about it pre-match here on Talksport. We've had a little bit of a huddle amongst Pep Guardiola and his troops on this near touchline. Ryerson's still getting treatment over on the far side. We're yet to restart play here. Half-time, Preston 1, Swansea 0, QPR 0, Southampton 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0, you just heard from. And it's 35 minutes into the game at Fratton Park. Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0. In the Champions League tonight, the only goals we've got so far, Club Brugge beating Barcelona 2-1. Manchester City obviously 2-0 up here. And Newcastle United over on Talksport 2 are 1 up against Athletic Bilbao. Here it's 2-0 to Manchester City. Dortmund, who made history by becoming the first side in Champions League history to score 4 or more goals in each of their first 3 games of a campaign, have got to score multiple goals to get back into this one. They are capable, and Mickey and I have had a good look at Borussia Dortmund this season. And we were looking at the goals that they scored earlier on as well, and some of those were a little bit fortunate. Here is Haaland, edge of the centre circle, right side of it, straying into Dortmund territory, back into Gonzalez and then on to Nunez, and Nunez guides it back to John Stones, who's 15 yards inside his own half and just threads the ball neatly into Reinders, pops it off to Foden. He releases Haaland, who's galloping into the box now. He needs the rivals to help him out. He gets that. The cross to the far post. He's aimed towards Nico O'Reilly, and it was just about shepherded behind by Ryerson, who got a little touch on that, and it's out for a corner.
Well, at the moment, Dortmund cannot live with City's midfield. Reinders, he's running off the balls, fantastic. Phil Foden, as I've already touched on, he's getting himself on that half turn, getting his head up straight away and just looking for that run from Erling Haaland. They've been absolutely excellent over the last few minutes, and I think you touched on it, Sam. Nico Gonzalez, he just sits in that pivot in front of the back line and lets the forward players go and express themselves, and my goodness, they're enjoying themselves right now.
It ain't easy following Rodri, but he's getting better and better. Here is the corner, left side, in towards the near post. Guirassy with a brilliant bullet header away. Reinders picks it up. Foden continues down the left. Another good cross into the box. Two City players getting each other's way. It pops into the air, and it's grabbed by a grateful Gregor Kobel away to our right-hand side. And Borussia Dortmund have possession. It's 2-0. to Manchester City live on Talksport tonight. Tomorrow night, Champions League action makes way for Europa League and Conference League action. Sturm Graz, Nottingham Forest, 5:45, Talksport 2. Aston Villa Maccabi Tel Aviv is 8 o'clock tomorrow night on Talksport. And be interested to see how that goes off. Here's Adeyemi into the penalty area, left-footed drive in towards the near post, saved by the goalkeeper down low to his right. He hasn't had much to do, Donnarumma, but he managed to get down very quickly to stop Adeyemi's powerful shot from just inside the area with his left foot.
Well, it's good play from Adeyemi, working that ball onto his left foot. Very good save from Donnarumma. A save I think you'd expect him to make, but that's better from Dortmund. Got to try and get the wide players into the game as much as they can.
Mecha, middle of the City half, out to the left, and Bayer, who's crossed into the box, just evades the first defender, but is cleared away by Gvardiol. Reinders does well, neat touch, back to Nunez, and then all the way to Stones, who's right on the edge of his own penalty area. Doku tries to take it forward. It's dispossessed by Anton, and he holds it in the centre circle, and Borussia Dortmund come again. This is Talksport. Here is Adeyemi. Going down the right-hand side, low centre of Garrity, pops back infield. Sabitzer with a cross, which goes past everyone, and Nunez a little bit worried about where he was going. I think, actually, Guirassy might have been in an offside position there, and if he had been a little bit more alert, would have got back onside and then been able to deal with the cross.
Yeah, I think at times as well, Guirassy, he's doing more defending than he is attacking, Sam, at the moment, and that will be frustrating him as well, because you know he's got a goal in him. His Champions League record is very good, as you mentioned earlier, last season top scorer, but he's just not getting opportunities because Dortmund literally can't get out of their own half at the moment. I said they've got to try and get their wide players into the game if they're going to grow into it, because City are just cruising at the moment.
Well, that Adeyemi shot came 33 minutes after their previous effort on goal. That just shows you the dominance that Manchester City had exerted during most of the first half, actually, after a bright start from the away team. It's 2-0 to Pep Guardiola's charges, and he's standing a good 5 or 6 yards outside his technical area, down the left side of the technical box where he's supposed to be stationed, shouting at his players, directing the traffic. The fourth official comes over, has a word in his ear, says, "Mr. Guardiola, would you mind getting back inside your box, please?" And Manchester City try to play their way out of their own box and then give the ball away inside it. Guirassy finds Bayer in towards Adeyemi. Good block by Gvardiol. Poor punch by Donnarumma. Taken down by Matthias Nunez. A little bit of chaos inside the Manchester City penalty area. It's picked up by Ben Sebaini. Wide on the left-hand side. Taken on by Ryerson. Bayer's down inside the box. Referee has allowed play on. That was a little bit chaotic from Manchester City, and Mecha then dollies the ball up for Donnarumma to catch on the edge of his 6-yard box. And actually that's a little bit of a let-off.
Well, they've just gone a little bit scrappy, and you know there's no need for City to play inside of their own 18-yard area, giving the ball away and not clearing the lines. But Donnarumma, he made a little bit of a mistake at the weekend for Bournemouth's goal, Sam. Whether you think he was being pulled down by his arm or not, it was a mistake because he's always been a goalkeeper who comes with his fists. He had so much time just to pluck that ball out of the air, but then thought about punching the ball out of his 18-yard box and got it wrong again.
Well, his defenders didn't help him out by giving the ball away inside their 18-yard box, which was a little bit naive. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's very good at getting a knuckle on the ball, isn't he? He's brilliant at that. But he does that's his modus operandi. He doesn't come and catch. He likes to punch, and he didn't get a clean punch on that particular effort. You're listening to Manchester City 2, Dortmund 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Bayer on the left side for Borussia Dortmund, spins past Nunez, and then he tries to play it infield to Guirassy, but there is Nico Gonzalez again, and it's picked up by Foden, sent back towards halfway, and then all the way back to the penalty area where Stones has it, and Gonzalez will just keep things moving once more. He was linked with a move to Roma Atletico Madrid in the summer when they thought that Rodri was going to come back. I bet they're pleased they didn't let him go now. Here's Savinho down the right, played in by Foden. Runs up towards the edge of the penalty area, then lays it off to the edge of the box where Haaland then drags the ball across his body and shoots low and firmly towards the near corner. It's easily caught by Kobel and cleared away.
Well, Daniel Svensson, who's on a yellow card already, Phil Foden does really well. He plays the ball out to the right-hand side to Savinho. But then Svensson lets him run into Dortmund's 18-yard area when he can make the challenge outside of the box. And in doing that, you can see the back line of Dortmund start panicking a little bit, wondering, right, who's going to make the challenge here? Who's going to clear our lines? You can't give City that much time on the ball, certainly their wide players.
Well, so far, we've got City's home record in the Champions League looking as stellar as ever, unbeaten in their last 22 home group or league phase games, dating back to September 2018. Only Inter Milan have managed to stop them scoring in that lengthy run. Borussia Dortmund certainly haven't stopped them scoring today, and if Manchester City stop the Germans getting a goal in this match, they'll go away with 3 points and rack up 10 from 4 games, which I think will mean at least they'll make it into the knockout playoff round. They want to be as amongst the first qualifiers. Well won by Nico Gonzalez on halfway. He charges up the field, he's blocked by Anton, turned over by Mecha, and they've got the possession once more, the away side Borussia Dortmund. 30 seconds before the break. I don't think there'll be too many minutes of added time, and maybe 2 or 3 at the end of the first half, but it's still 2-0 to the home side as Schlotterbeck tries to arc a crossfield pass into the path of Adeyemi, does well to nudge it into Sabitzer. Good cross into the box, which is fended away by the right foot of John Stones. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Savinho picks up the loose ball, looks to feed it into Haaland. Haaland trying to get there before the goalkeeper, who comes steaming out and manages to just about dangle a foot, squeeze the ball out on this near touchline and prevent Haaland from going through again.
Well, even before that happened, you could see it coming, couldn't you? Savinho trying to work the ball onto his left foot, Erling Haaland running in behind the back line of Dortmund. I just wonder, Sam, whether he could have played it to the left-hand side of Erling Haaland rather than to his right-hand side. It gave the defender a chance just to nick a foot in and just win the ball back.
Newcastle leading over on Talksport 2. Manchester City leading here. Remember, Liverpool have won, Tottenham have won, Arsenal have won. Chelsea have drawn away at Karabag today. Here's Doku over on the far side, getting into the edge of the penalty area. He's dancing his way into the box, trying to get into the 6-yard box now, and Kobel comes across and snaffles it up. But when he gets going, Jeremy Doku, he really can go past players with an unbelievable amount of balance, skill, and the way he weaves between opponents' legs is pretty impressive.
Superb. I think he's having his best time at Man City. You know, he's added to his game, his assists, and he's actually scored a few goals as well. He's that threat, but now there's a threat at the end of all these wonderful runs we see from him.
Inter have taken the lead against Kairat Almaty. Lautaro Martinez has scored the opener just before half-time. We're into added time at the end of the first half. We've got 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. And it's around about 30 seconds between now and the half-time whistle. And I think Pep Guardiola will be pretty satisfied with the way his team rode the storm, Mickey, in the first 10 minutes of the match and then took complete control.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever going to be an easy night for Pep Guardiola this evening. I think he knew that Dortmund would come and try and take the game to them.
Mecha wins it back. Guirassy trying to shoot. Did that take a deflection? I don't think it did. It goes out after going very wide of the goal. But Manchester City, I think the only caution that they need to show in the second half, Mickey, is not to keep giving the ball away in cheap areas. It's something they have done occasionally. Apart from that, they've been very good after a 10-minute spell when Borussia Dortmund took control of the game and took the game to Manchester City. But boy, did they respond. An unbelievably brilliant goal from Phil Foden. And then, inevitably, an Erling Haaland goal as well. Another record for him. Another lead at the break for Manchester City. And Manchester City eyeing up, going into the top 4 of the Champions League table. At half-time, it's City 2, Dortmund 0.
And Erling Haaland makes his way down the tunnel just in front of us. There was that tifo on the right-hand side that was unfurled by the City fans before kick-off. Erling the Great, and he was in his Viking helmet. 27th goal of the season for club and country, and it's early November. Some people might think we were going over the top, Mickey Gray, beforehand about Erling Haaland, but not just, as Sam says, not just the goals, the assists as well. It's 30 goals, assists in 17 games for Erling Haaland so far this season. It is ridiculous. Those numbers are insane. You ask, when's it all going to stop? It just shows no signs of letting up. It's a joy to behold, isn't it?
Well, Adrian, in the build-up to this game, we're talking about, if you stop Erling Haaland, you have a chance of beating Manchester City. And I'm sure all these coaches every single week work on how to stop Erling Haaland, to give yourself a chance of winning a game or getting something out of the game against a side like Manchester City. But everything they try seems to fail. You know, his movement off the ball is better, I think, since he walked through the door at Man City. His hold-up play, actually in this game in front of us in that first half, has been very good. He's adding to his game and making himself better. And you have to start believing what he says. When he speaks, you talked about the interview, when he speaks and he says something, we have to sit back and believe what this guy is saying, because at the moment, he is unstoppable.
He is. And actually, the goal that he scored highlights how impossible it is. You can do all the homework you like, but you might not be able to stop. You won't be able to stop Erling Haaland. Doku got to the byline on the left. Haaland, if you watch his movement, Mickey, he's ready to attack a high cross to the back post. Yep. He's also ready to check back for the pullback, which is what happens. If you watch his movement, he is poised for either of those eventualities. So how do you stop him?
Well, he's a centre-half's nightmare, isn't he? You know, if a centre-forward's pulling at the back stick, and you know how well he can leap, Erling Haaland, and how good he is in the air. As soon as he starts to drive in towards that 6-yard area, and we know that the ball's coming in from Jeremy Doku, he's already got a leap on you. He's a yard ahead of you. And somebody like Erling Haaland, who gets a yard ahead of you and he gets a strike on goal, 9 times out of 10 the ball's going to find its way into the back of the net. I do think it was poor defending, I have to say, Aid, for that Erling Haaland goal. But it's down to the movement of the striker and good wing play from Jeremy Doku and an outstanding finish from him yet again. And
I think poor defending as well for the Foden goal. Now listen, it's a brilliant finish from Phil Foden, but Dortmund gave him space to take the ball on the half turn on the edge of the box, and then they allowed him time to tee it up to shoot with his left foot. It's like Dortmund have never heard of Phil Foden.
Yeah, look, it was that, I've heard this before, the corridor of uncertainty. That's where Phil Foden finds himself. But I look around Europe, Adrian, and I don't see a better player on a half pivot better than Phil Foden. He knows what's over his shoulder before the ball arrives to him, which is absolutely fantastic. And he's playing against quality players tonight, but the space he gets to get it onto his left foot, let's not forget that as well. They've showed him onto his left foot, and he just uses Slotterbeck just to curl it round him, which gives the keeper no chance. By the time he reacts, the ball's behind him, it's into the back of the net. It's brilliant from Foden.
Is he going to be in the England squad on Friday? He wasn't in the last one.
Do you know what? It's sensational, isn't it? I think that we're even having this conversation when we've got so many good players. Cole Palmer being another one, Jude Bellingham is another one who wants to play in that position. How can we talk about England and not Phil Foden at the same time? I find it astonishing.
It is amazing. By the way, Anthony Gordon has gone off in the game on Talksport 2. Newcastle leading Bilbao 1-0. Gone off holding his hip just before half-time. And as I say, the England squad announced on Friday by Thomas Tuchel. We'll bring you that on Talksport. Anthony Gordon has got to be a doubt given that. Just one word of caution. I mean, City, Dortmund started really well. I kind of expected that to an extent. I don't think City were that bad. Dortmund were just going for it, and then they got told. But you said in commentary towards the end of the half there was no need for Man City to play inside their own box. Dortmund weren't even pressing at first, and yet they were just knocking aimless balls really to one another. It was going nowhere. It was doing nothing. I think they were trying to draw Dortmund towards them, and then Dortmund did go towards them, and they panicked City. It was weird.
Yeah, I think that's the part of when you watch City, and this is me trying to be Pep Guardiola, that frustrates the life out of him, because it's unwanted pressure that doesn't need to be there. And even when it goes to Donnarumma, you know, he flapped at a little bit, didn't clear his lines. I think it was John Stones tried to play out of his own 18-yard area, but he had to do that because he was put under pressure because of the pass that was played to him in the first place. If they do that at the weekend, they'll get punished for it. You talk about quality strikers who know where the back of the net is. I don't think I've seen Dortmund at their very best, certainly in the final third tonight, and that's one that City got away with.
You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise. Rent a car, rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Let me give you the half times in the Champions League. Actually, earlier the full times. Paphos beat Villarreal 1-0 to get their first win. Villarreal still without a win. Chelsea went to Karabakh and drew 2-2. We will hear from Enzo Maresca before the end of the evening, or in the sports bar a little bit later on. Ajax 0, Galatasaray 0, Benfica 0, Bayer Leverkusen 0, Bruges 2, Barcelona 1, Inter Milan lead Carrot Almaty 1-0, Man City 2 up here live on Talksport, Marseille 0, Atalanta 0, Newcastle 1, Athletic Bilbao 0. Dan Burns' header is unbelievable. I mean, it's one of the best headed goals I think I've ever seen in my life. It's sensational from Dan Burn. It's unbelievable. When you watch it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Championship latest scores: Preston are 2 up on Swansea. Militon Osmajic has just got a second. They're going fourth in the league. QPR 0, Southampton 0. Sheffield Wednesday lead Norwich 1-0. And in an 8 o'clock kick-off, Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0. And in the National League, Altrincham 1, Boston 0. Elliot Osborne's red card was rescinded. He scored tonight because of that. Braintree goalless with Brackley. Solihull Moors 2 up on Truro. Woking 0, Southend 0. York City 3, Gateshead 0. And Sutton getting off the bottom. They lead Eastleigh by 2-0. Live on Talksport, Man City in control in the Champions League against Dortmund.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
This year, Amazon are increasing the electric delivery vehicles we use across Europe to 10,000. It's a difference you'll notice on your doorstep, where babies are made a fuss of, where we deliver footballs for kids' kickabouts, and where they deliver the football straight into next door's garden. Can they have their ball back, please? We're delivering change where it matters, on your doorstep. Delivery service partner vehicles across the UK and EU.
Move by you. And me.
For a great all-rounder, pick up a can of Dulux Trade Vinyl Matte today.
Sport. It's in your DNA. And at SpreadX Sports, we want you to gamble responsibly. Set sportsbook deposit limits to help stay in control of your spending. Use our handy fixed odds timeout feature, which allows you to take a break when you need it. At SpreadX Sports, our safer gambling tools are designed to let you play within your limits and gamble responsibly. Visit spreadx.com/DNA. SpreadX Sports. It's in our DNA. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Right, listen up. You've got the power, electrical, diesel. You've got the lineup, combo, Vivaro, Movano. Whatever your game plan, Vauxhall's got your back. And here's the kicker. 0% APR across the range. Zero, nothing. With a minimum 20% deposit, you're already on the front foot. So what are you waiting for? Vauxhall Van Range. Energising a better Britain. Search Vauxhall Vans. Conditional sale, 20% minimum deposit required. Business users only. Subject to status and availability. T's and C's 18+. Stellantis Financial Services.
Play Final One Standing by William Hill. It's free to play, with a new league kicking off every Premier League match week. Enter and make your first pick before the start of the first round, then pick a new team before each following round. You can only pick each team once, and if you're the final one standing, then the jackpot is yours. Final one standing by William Hill, football's ultimate elimination game. 18 plus, runs EPL season, one active league at a time unless prize £100,000 or more. Minimum prize £1,000. Prizes vary and apply to public leagues only. Prize split if all lose in the same round. Pay within 48 hours. Online, full T's and C's at williamhill.com. Play responsibly.
With super-fast USB-C sockets from BG Electrical, everything gets a lot faster, including this advert. Here we go. Only joking. If you're an electrician or looking to update your sockets, super-fast USB-C sockets give your power-hungry devices a head start. With integrated USB-C and A charging ports, you don't just charge, you supercharge. Visit bgelectrical.uk to find out more.
Next Saturday, the generational rivalry continues as Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn return to the ring. And there's still unfinished business. Be there for Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2, live at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday the 15th of November. Final tickets are on sale now at ticketmaster.co.uk. Eubank Jr. versus Benn 2. Get your tickets now at ticketmaster.co.uk.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talksport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talksport with Coral. We're here for the fans. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
More fun than paying your gas bill. Kick-off live on Talksport.
Live on Talksport at the Etihad, Man City 2-0 up, and on Talksport 2, Newcastle lead Bilbao 1-0. And Mickey Gray has just seen Dan Burns' header that has put Newcastle in front. Your verdict, Mickey Gray?
Well, only because you forced me to watch it, Adrian. It was the only reason I watched it. But hang on a minute, right? They're playing against Atletico Bilbao. 6'7", centre half.
Left back.
Well, left back tonight. He's got 10 yards, no one's marking him. Yeah, it's a brilliant header. I won't say that away from Dan Burn. It is a wonderful header, but God, come on.
Give him some credit.
It's a brilliant header.
Give over. That is absolutely sensational. What
Sam,
I love
you'd
about
score
it,
that.
I would not. What I love about it is it almost sort of curls, it arcs off his head into the far corner. It kisses the inside of the post. It's delicious.
It's beautiful, and it kind of starts aiming towards the corner flag and then curls in.
If me and Adrian were there, we'd be standing and giving it an ovation, I think.
I wouldn't.
Mickey would be walking out. He'd be storming out. He'd be saying, I'm not watching this. He's the second best left back the North East has ever produced. Anyway, let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So at half-time on Talksport, Man City 2 up against Dortmund here at the Etihad. City are 66-1 on to win. The draw is 18-1. Dortmund to turn it around and win 50-1. Imagine Dortmund scoring just as they come out. Erling Haaland to score next, 5-2. Phil Foden to score next is 9-1. On Talksport 2, it's Newcastle 1. Athletic Club 0, thanks to Dan Burns' delicious header. Newcastle are 11-2 on to win. The draw is 5-1. Athletic Club to win 18-1. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus be gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
City 2, Dortmund 0. Dortmund just coming out. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Let's head to Hillsborough. What's happening there early second half, Alan Biggs?
Well, Norwich City are rocking. It's still only Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0, but keeper Kovacevic had to come to the rescue early in this second half to prevent a second goal from Svante Ingelsson. Sheffield Wednesday, all credit to them, playing extremely well with this upsurge in interest and support following the departure of Depon Chansiri. former legends on the field at half-time. We've got rid of the bully, boomed one of them, Mel Sterland, and the message from David Hurst and Chris Waddle, we've got our Wednesday back. Well, they certainly have. A screamer from Barry Bannon could have added to that in the first half, and Norwich being outplayed and outfought at this stage. So lightweight, although as I speak, commentators curse, shot across the face of goal, which goes wide from Schwartau. It remains Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 0.
Goal at QPR, Ian Abrams.
10 minutes of the second half gone. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Southampton 1. Jay Robinson is the man who's got it. Ball played into him just on the edge of the penalty area, right hand side. He's taken a couple of steps into the box. It has taken a bit of a deflection past Nardi, but Southampton lead here. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Southampton 1.
Well, Will Still, how are you feeling right now? By the way, our commentaries from the Championship on Saturday on Talksport 2 feature, as things stand, 4 of the top 5. Stoke take on Coventry, and it's Millwall against Preston. That's Saturday on Talksport 2. And actually, Game Day Live around the grounds, all the goals on Saturday afternoon on Talksports comes live from that big one, featuring the top 2 in the Championship, Stoke City against Coventry. Really looking forward. I am actually looking forward to going to Stoke this weekend. There's a Manchester derby coming up here at the Etihad in 10 days' time, a week on Saturday. City currently second in the Women's Super League, United third. Should be a terrific game. Big feature on City striker Viviana Miedema in tonight's programme. Check out my 5 takeaways from the WSL weekend on TalkSport's Women's Football Instagram. I give a special mention to Hannah Hampton in this one, so check that out on Instagram. City's men's team are 2-0 up against Borussia Dortmund here at the Etihad. Second half about to get underway with Mickey Gray and Sam Matchface.
Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, no changes at half-time for either Manchester City, who lead by 2-0, or Borussia Dortmund. And Dortmund shooting from left to right in this second half with yellow shirts and black shorts and yellow socks. Manchester City in light blue jerseys with a white sash from left shoulder to right hip, and white shorts, light blue socks, shooting towards the goal at our left. And Mickey Gray, Borussia Dortmund, who have been pretty impressive in the Champions League up until this point, have got a lot of work to do to get back into this game. How do they go about it?
Well, I thought I might have seen a change in system, Sam, and I better be quiet because City are on the break right now.
Yeah, lovely touch by Haaland into Reinders towards the edge of the area. He scampers up towards the 18-yard line, then feeds it parallel towards Savinho, who goes down the outside, right-footed shot, smuggled away by Corbell, makes a really good save, gets down to his right, low, and shovels it out towards the near touchline. Picked up by Doku, keeps the pressure on. His left-footed cross comes to the edge of the area, flicked away by Bayer, picked up by Guirassy, and then Bayer's trying to run it clear. He hasn't got much support, so has to check back, plays it infield towards Guirassy. Mecha takes over. He just steps forward and plays it in towards Bayer, who's got into the penalty area now, trying to evade Nunez, tees it back up for Svensson. Svensson moves into the box, goes on the outside, then tries to pull a cross through the box, comes back to the edge of the area. Mecha's strike is a volley from 18 yards, which he hit with the outside of the top of his boot, and it flicked away, curled away. But a bright start to the second 45 by both teams. Savinho at one end causing problems for Corbell, and then Mecha at the other.
Well, it did look like, as we come out in his second half, that City were just going to breeze through Borussia Dortmund. Big chance for Savinho, but Mecha, that's a big chance, I have to say, and I think he should do better. He's got an eye for goal as well, and no pressure on the ball. He's just got to keep his eyes on the ball and get his volley towards target.
Well, we saw him score a goal like that against FC Copenhagen, didn't we?
Well, we did. So, yeah, I think the goalkeeper helped him out a little bit, but take nothing away. His pace was fantastic.
By driving out the way?
Well, it was in the middle of the goal. But that was a good chance. He was inside of the 18-yard area and got his volley away. I think he's got to do better.
Yeah, well, he should have hit the target, and he didn't do that. And it's still 2-0 to Manchester City. It's O'Reilly, who's just short of the halfway line, nudging the ball back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol finds O'Reilly again. Tall and lean and athletic O'Reilly, who's been in the England squad now, got a taste for it. Wonder whether he will be named in the England squad when Thomas Tuchel unveils his list of 25 on or 26 on Friday. Big run by Nunez, charging forward towards the edge of the box. He gets a shoulder charge off Schlotterbeck to stop him in his tracks, and he heavily drops to the floor. and City lose the ball and go away to our left. Yes, that announcement, by the way, the England announcement is Friday from Wembley. We'll have it on Talksport around about 11 o'clock. When it drops, then it'll be in our show on the Friday, won't it, with Crookie and I. Here is Ryerson down the right side, cutting in, moving towards the midpoint of the Manchester City half. All of the Borussia Dortmund fans twirling scarves above their head and making a hell of a lot of noise as the ball goes to the back post. Bayer nods the ball back into a central area. Svensson tries to get on the end of it, can't do so because Reinders was marshalling him correctly, and Manchester City take the ball out towards the far side. It was a good deep cross into the box, and Bayer, who is very tall and slender, won the header, nudged it back, but Manchester City dealt with it.
Yeah, it looked like a poor cross, didn't it, from Sabitzer, the ball into the area, but Bayer just kept it alive, and luckily for City, Reinders had come back to help out to just clear their lines for Man City. But moments earlier, Matheus Nunes went on a run from his own box. Looked like it was going to go all the way. I thought it was Van de Ven in disguise, to be honest with you, Sam, after last night for Tottenham. What a goal he got.
Did you see that? That was unbelievable, wasn't
sensational.
it? What a run. I mean, it would have been good if someone had put a tackle in, but... Ever the Chrissy, only joking. It was a brilliant run, really was. And we're looking forward to seeing Mickey van der Ven at the weekend and the rest of his team when they take on Manchester United live on Talksport. It's a 12:30 start from the Premier League. Looking forward to that. Norwich have equalised away at Sheffield Wednesday. Get to Alan Biggs very shortly. The ball's been picked up by Reinders into Haaland. Back towards Foden, who clips it out towards this left-hand side. Doku takes it down. Faces up Ryerson. See you later, fella. He goes down the left-hand side, gets into the penalty area, chops back on his right foot, tees it up for Gvardiol. His cross is deep in towards Reinders, flicked away by Schlotterbeck, and out towards the far side where eventually the ball goes out and into the path of Erling Haaland. Haaland back to Nunez, then on to Phil Foden again. Square to Gvardiol, 15-20 yards back from the edge of the Borussia Dortmund penalty area. City popping it around. Nunez has it now. 2-0 the score. Nunez travels down the right, gives it to Foden, back to Savinho. Savinho trying to take on Svensson, just manoeuvres the ball infield, kept alive by Gonzalez, who's kept things ticking over well tonight. Savinho with a few tricks, trying to get between two yellow jerseys, runs into Ben Sebaini, and he manages to get the ball clear. Not a great ball out to the far side. Mickey Gray, I don't think he's going to be starting the Rami Ben Sebaini fan club anytime soon.
And if you watch his reels, Sam, and watch him take penalties, you wonder, he's a wonderful talent. He's got a great left foot, but he's not quick enough. He can't defend very good. And that's probably why they play a 3 at the back, maybe to help him out a little bit. Look, City have got Dortmund where they want them at the moment, zipping it around. When they do get around the edge of the 18-yard area, they look great. And I've got to say, I've been watching Julian Reyersson over on this right-hand side. His race has run. He's limping around. Doku's got him on toast as I'm speaking. He's got him again.
Oh, that's brilliant from Doku in towards O'Reilly, who's got the wrong side of Ryerson. He had to check back, actually, and that gave Ryerson a little bit of an out. But he's blowing, isn't he, down this near side, and he's struggling to keep tabs on Doku.
He's limping. He needs to come off.
He has had a little bit of an injury, actually, I think. It's his 13th appearance of the season. He hasn't looked at his sharpest tonight. Here on the right-hand side is Savinho, certainly looking sharp. He goes past Svensson into the penalty area. His cross takes a flick off of the retreating Ben Sebaini, and it's out for a Manchester City corner. Good news for Mickey Gray. Newcastle 2-0 up now in the game at St James's Park. Another header, a big towering one from the Brazilian Joel Linton. 6 Premier League sides in the top 11 as it stands of the Champions League table. Newcastle will go up into the top 6. Manchester City will be 4th tonight if results stay as they are. They'll have 10 points from their 4 games. The maximum pointers Inter, Arsenal and Barcelona. Here's the corner from the far side, flicked in towards the near post, and it's headed behind by O'Reilly and goes out for a goal kick. So we can go off to Alan Biggs at Hillsborough.
Yes, now Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 1. Norwich equaliser out of the blue from substitute to Matthias Christvarden, who really had a a simple chance after a downfield move straight from the keeper, unselfish layoff from Josh Sargent, and there he was to poke into an empty net. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich 1.
Breakfast tomorrow morning is with Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour from 6 o'clock. So when you wake up, stick your radio on. You can listen to those boys. They're going to have Lee Westwood with them tomorrow. Chris Robshaw is coming on as well. Mickey Gray and Ali McCoyce will be on the show. So a full complement of superstars tomorrow morning on the Talksport Breakfast from 6 o'clock. And tonight, once we've finished here, you will be able to have your say on all the night's football. 03 717 2233 44. I mean, I don't know how you go to bed at night, but I go to bed with O'Hara and Cundy.
Oh, right.
It gives me a little bit of a giggle before I drop off. Ball sent forward out to Adeyemi on the right-hand side, and a flying header by Gvardiol stops him before he can get to the edge of the penalty area. It's gobbled up by Donnarumma, and it's cleared away. This is Talksport.
Yeah, they're running out of options, Dortmund, right now. You know, it's hit and hope, and maybe they can't get out of their own half. Payer's had a couple of runs down that left-hand side, and when he gets his head up, there's nobody there for him. Garassi's coming short. He's hiding now. He doesn't want to get hold of the ball. It's not been his night tonight, and City are just taking over.
Oh, Doku, brilliant again. Body swerve to evade the challenge of Ryerson. He feeds it into Reinders, who in turn sends it out towards the wide right position. And Savinho, he cuts in on his left foot, pokes it through to Foden. And there was a dangling foot which connected with Bayer, but the referee said it was just a coming together. City still have the ball. Foden, Reinders holding it up. Now the referee stopped the game because Bayer's stayed down for so long that he's going to need treatment. I mean, look, Pep Guardiola boasts a remarkable track record against Borussia Dortmund. He's unbeaten his last 10 encounters against them in his time with City and with Bayern. You'll remember the most recent meetings between the two, a 0-0 draw in Dortmund, a tense 2-1 victory for City here. It was a brilliant comeback win, actually. Late goals from John Stones and Erling Haaland overturning a lead given to Dortmund by Jude Bellingham. Going back to 2021, that quarter-final clash. Here is O'Reilly, edge of the area. Haaland takes over. Doku down the left. Haaland snatches at it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Well, they restarted that really quickly after the ball was given as a drop ball over on the far side. And City turned it over and very quickly pounced down the left. O'Reilly and Haaland combining really well. Doku was involved in the move as well. It was a good chance.
Yeah, very good. Erling Haaland, the right man on the end of it as well. I don't know if he just snatched it away from Nico O'Reilly. He was the one who did really well, worked it out of his feet, wanted to get the shot away, but because Haaland was pounding down on him, he wanted to get his shots away. But I'm watching Dortmund now, Sam, and I say they should change the system, and they should actually change the personnel as well. Ryerson, he's out on his feet. I saw him limping as soon as he come out at half-time. And when you're up against somebody like Jeremy Doku, you have to look at your bench and say, look, I'm no good, I can't carry on. They've got Kuto on the bench. Yeah. He was a very good player. He's lively, he's small, but he's very quick.
Ben Sebaini is trying to track back and win the ball ahead of Erling Haaland. Those thundering hooves were galloping behind him, and he could hear them in his ears. He's then gone down easily over on the far side. City have turned the ball over, and Reinders has worked it out to Haaland, who's now on the edge of the area. He's cut in field. He's on his left foot. He's teed it up for Doku. Doku's turned and come back in field. He's got back to his feet now, Ben Sebaini, and he's managed to wander into position. City still coming forward. Foden! Oh, yes! A lovely little body swerve onto his left foot, arrowed into the far corner. It's another Phil Foden finish of the highest quality. It's another Manchester City goal, and that is jaw-dropping. The control was sublime, the finish was superb. No wonder even Guardiola is smiling. City have been on top since they took control of the game, and there ain't no stopping them now. Phil Foden with the finish. Manchester City with a 3-goal lead. It's Manchester City 3, Borussia Dortmund 0.
Well, if you think his first goal is magnificent, take a look at this. It's absolutely out of this world from Phil Foden. I talk about it all the time, about him being on the half turn and knowing what's the other side of him. But the way he works that ball onto his left foot in a tight scenario on the edge of the 18-yard area, picks his spot and fires it or curls it and guides it into that corner. It's absolutely brilliant. What a goal from Phil Foden.
I'll tell you what, The first one was unreal. That, indescribable. It was absolutely superb. It's not necessarily the last act that makes that so beautiful. It's the little touch to set it that he can curl it into the far corner. He's on the edge of the D, he flicks it inside, he curls it round the goalkeeper and into the far post. It's absolutely sumptuous. Ian Abrahams has got a goal at Loftus Road.
Equally sumptuous. QPR 0, Southampton 2. Leo Cienza picked up the ball on the halfway line, left-hand side. Admittedly, he wasn't tackled by anybody. Got to about 22 yards out, opened up his body, right-footed, curled it beyond Nardi into the far corner. No chance for the keeper. QPR 0, Southampton 2.
Interestingly, Ofri Arad has scored for Kaira Almaty away at Inter Milan. I think that's the first goal that Inter have conceded in the Champions League this season. And that will mean that Manchester City have got a good chance of maybe going third in the table if things stay like this. They've got a chance to rack up a few goals maybe. They've got 3 already. And we made a lot about the fact that the goals in the game involving Borussia Dortmund meant that they were very entertaining. We've now had 22 goals in Borussia Dortmund games so far this campaign in the Champions League, but they've conceded a hell of a lot.
Yeah, and I can see why they don't look comfortable at the back. I don't think they've got defenders who really want to defend. They're just in there making numbers and hoping that the forward players turn up on the night and win them football matches, and they are there to be got at. Sam, I've got to ask you, Phil, why can we not get Phil Foden in that position in an England shirt? Because he's unreal.
Don't ask me. Thomas Tuchel can't do it.
Yeah, Gareth Southgate as well.
Here is Savinho over on the right-hand side. He's motoring up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Haaland in the centre. 2 more goals for Manchester City without reply will send them up to third in the Champions League above Inter Milan tonight on goals scored. Here is Nunez. Out wide towards Foden. Back to halfway. Then it's picked up by Nunez once again. 3-0 to Manchester City. 2 fabulous Foden strikes. Here is O'Reilly. Now on to Doku. Doku trying to turn. He's got Ryerson for company. Ryerson just kicked him. I'm sorry, but that is an absolute blatant yellow card. Doku has not only shifted the ball away and passed it, that was so late. The 69 bus driver would be fined if he was that late. That was outrageous.
They're the tackles you make in the first 2 or 3 minutes, which he's just made there, Ryerson. And I don't know if he's just trying to just bring him down now because he's thinking, well, I'm sick of you running behind me. My ankle's absolutely throbbing and killing me. So you're coming down. You're not getting past me. I'm just going to foul you.
You're listening to Manchester City, who lead by 3-0 against Dortmund in the Champions League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Let's go up to Queen's Park Rangers again. Ian Abrahams.
QPR 1, Southampton 2. Ball played over the top. Goalkeeper looked favourite, but then Burrell got in, nipped it past him and put it into the empty net. QPR 1, Southampton 2.
Fabinho over the bar. Well, what a move from Manchester City. Foden involved once again, down the left, combining with Haaland. Foden's cross to the far post. It looked for all the world as if all Savinho had to do was arc his body shape and volley it into the corner. He leant back a little bit too much and he rifled it over the bar.
Wow. They're enjoying themselves now, City, aren't they? Phil Foden started with a little flick around the corner, the give and go, and then to keep his composure, to dink the ball to the back stick, and you're just waiting for Savinho just to rifle that one into the back of the net. Absolutely brilliant.
Manchester City 3, Dortmund 0, and they look like they could get a couple more goals as well, don't they, Mickey?
Yeah.
And at this, in this competition with the league phase the way it is, goal difference really does make a difference, especially it can do when it comes down to the final day. Here's Ryerson winning the ball off Doku. That hasn't happened too often tonight. It's picked up by Guirassy, who runs through the centre circle. He charges up towards the edge of the area. Wide on the left is Svensson, whose left-footed shot towards the far corner flashes in front of Donnarumma's eyes. It goes out and away for a goal kick eventually. It wasn't the best of efforts, but it was a good move.
Yeah, it was a good move, but again, Guirassy, how far deep is he coming to pick the ball up just to try and get involved in the game? And eventually it does go out to that left-hand side to Svensson. I'm not quite sure if it was a shot or a cross, but but it's probably as close as Dortmund have come in his second half. They've not really offered anything. I know they're going to make a raft of changes in a moment, Sam, but it's just been poor. If you're going to lose a game, go out fighting, and I think City have taken the fight out of Dortmund.
Well, I think that's Emre Can I can see, and I think this is the first time, because of injury, that he has played this season, Emre Can. I mentioned when we were building up to the game that everybody who's an outfield player on the Dortmund bench has played or represented an English club. Emre Can, formerly of Liverpool, Joe Bellingham, formerly of Sunderland, Pascal Gross, formerly of Brighton, and Carney Chukwuemeka, formerly of Chelsea and Aston Villa, about to come on for Borussia Dortmund. Just wonder whether or not these changes are a little bit late from Niko Kovac. Ball forward towards Sabitzer from Anton. Gonzalez loses out to Guirassy, edge of the area, works it onto his left foot, shoots towards the far corner. He really caught that, but it was a little deflection, and it flies 5 yards wide of the post and out for a corner for Borussia Dortmund.
Well, I bet a coach loves a centre forward who actually just about turns up on the 65th minute of a football match. You have to come to these stadiums, you've got to turn up and you've got to stamp your authority of the players you're playing against. The two centre-halves of Man City, you say, right, you're in for a tough game tonight, mate. Well, he's looked a little bit lively over the last 2 or 3 minutes, maybe because he knows that he's going to be actually coming off.
Lamine Yamal scores for Barcelona 2-2, and then immediately Carlos Forbes scores again for Club Brugge. It's 3-2. Here's the corner for Borussia Dortmund, into the near post. Good strong header away by Nico Gonzalez. Svensson sends it back out to the far side. Ryerson with another delivery, right-footed. Out comes Donnarumma, who catches this time on the edge of his 6-yard area. Mickey Gray's got a big, wide-open, gaping mouth.
My jaw's just dropped. I mean, he does it so well, doesn't he, Donnarumma? I mean, the size of him, he commands that area, doesn't he, as a goalkeeper? But there is times, and I know he's so good, it's very hard to critique a goalkeeper like him, Sam, especially what he's achieved in this game so far as well. But I think he can do that a bit more. I really do.
O'Reilly is dispossessed, and now Guirassy has escaped into the penalty area. His right-footed shot is fisted over the top by Donnarumma, who gets down low but puts his arm up high and sends the ball scampering over the top of the crossbar and out for a corner.
Well, he made a save in the first half that I think we expect him to make, but this is what he's here for at Manchester City, Donnarumma. It's point blank, makes himself big and reacts to it. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that was a really good save. It was a tight angle from Guirassy, but it was on target. It was going in, but he lifted up his arm and shoveled it behind. There's another corner over on the far side. Ryerson to take it. They're having a bit of a spell now, Borussia Dortmund, as the ball comes in right under the goalkeeper. He fists it away this time, and then Schlotterbeck, he made a real mess of that. Almost gave the ball away to Manchester City, who were about to pounce on the counter-attack. Got away with it. And Anton plays it against Doku. It goes out for a throw-in. So here are the changes. And the first one to come off is Sabitzer, who's replaced by Pascal Gross. That's the first shift around. Second one is the removal of Ben Sebaini. And he comes off, and on comes Emre Can. And the next one to be removed, Max Bayer for Joe Bellingham. And the final one is Guirassy, who comes off for Chukwuemeka. I'm not entirely sure how that's all going to sort of work itself out in terms of formation, but it might mean that Adeyemi goes down the middle here. And we'll keep an eye on it. Mickey's still absolutely gobsmacked that Ryerson hasn't come off.
No, I know. He's just been limping around, and you can see he's not enjoying his night tonight, Simon. It's certainly a game he'll remember for the wrong reasons, because he's just been on the back foot and he's just had no joy whatsoever. I think these changes have come a little bit too late for Dortmund, albeit they've had a decent spell over the last 3 or 4 minutes. They've got themselves into good areas, trying to get themselves on the score sheet tonight. But I think City have just been way much better. The quality's there in the final third. They defended very good tonight, and Phil Foden's just been on another level.
Yeah, I think we should give credit to Manchester City, because Dortmund aren't an easy team to beat in the Champions League. They've lost only one of the last 10 in this competition. They've got experience, they have organisation and history. It wasn't long ago that they were finalists at Wembley And they've been well beaten here tonight by Manchester City Sun. At 3-0 and with one eye on maybe Sunday's game against Liverpool, I wonder how long it will be before Pep Guardiola starts making changes. Adeyemi gets the ball in a pocket of space. Left-footed drive towards the near corner. It's so close to getting Dortmund on the score sheet. It just, I think, tickled the outside of Donnarumma's left-hand upright. It was very, very close from Adeyemi. And maybe the reason he hasn't made changes, Vicky Gray, is because he's still a little bit worried about what might come from Borussia Dortmund.
I mean, as I said, the last 5 minutes they've been the better side. They've looked lively and they've actually shown us the quality that they do have, and it's pretty much come through Adeyemi, who was the live wire for Dortmund in that first half. Well, that strike is very good. He's very unfortunate not to hit the target. If it creeps inside the post, I'm not quite sure Donnarumma actually gets down to his left-hand side to make the save. Maybe they can see signs of actually getting back into the game, but they've waited that long. They're 3 goals behind.
Well, Emre Can has made no bones about it. He's come on, and he's come on to try and disrupt Haaland. That's what he's here for, and he's come straight into the thick of the action. He grabbed Haaland by his captain's armband and tried to drag him to the floor. Then he pulled his shirt, then he threw him on the floor, and then when Haaland got up to complain, he went right up to him in his face and started to try and give him a bit back. He's here to try and stop the big man from settling and going for more goals in the game. He's already got 1 so far. Manchester City lead by 3-0. This is Nico Gonzalez, 15 yards back from the edge of the area. Centrally is Foden, turning balletically as he's done all night. The manipulation of the football for the second goal was absolutely sublime. And he's got the ball again at his feet, and he's ghosting past 2 Borussia Dortmund yellow jerseys. He gets to the edge of the area, and then that was a foul right on the edge of the box by Metja, and that was really close to the edge of the box actually, and there will be a VAR check just to check the geography on that. I think it was just outside when eventually the contact took place. In fact, it was, a little bit outside the penalty area, but a free kick for Manchester City in a dangerous position.
Well, it's clumsy from Metja. Frustration, I suppose. You have to look at that as well, because Phil Foden's he's going nowhere apart from drifting across the 18-yard area. But it does now give City a chance with Reinders stood over it just to whip it in towards that Dortmund goal.
Reinders bending the ball in towards Haaland, pushed away by Kobel. There was a bit of pushing and shoving going on inside the penalty area. Galatasaray scored 2 goals in 6 minutes to take a 2-0 lead away at Ajax. Leverkusen 1-0 up against Benfica. 03717223344 is the number to call if you want to get through on the sports bar later tonight with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 20 minutes to go. Haaland looks as if he's hungry for more, Mickey Gray.
Well, I'm sure he is, Sam. I'm not quite sure he'll finish this game. I think Pep Guardiola will start to think about that game against Liverpool at the weekend, which he does. Haaland doesn't really finish many games now. He always seems to score 3 or 4, and then Pep brings him off with 10 minutes to go to a standing ovation, and I think he might do that with a couple of others as well, having that thought of playing against Liverpool at the weekend, who had a brilliant result themselves last night.
Yeah, they had a great result last night, didn't they? Pep Guardiola just sitting down and looking a little bit like a university lecturer, wearing a suit with a jumper and a shirt peeking out the top. That is middle-aged man dress. That's not really like him, is it?
He looks the part though, Sam, doesn't he? Well, I'm sure it's a nice D-squared suit, D-squared shirt, shoes. He looks fantastic.
Look, I'm not saying it didn't cost a few bob. Here is Ryerson down the right. Low ball into the near post, and it's tucked in by Anton, the big centre-half, running in on the edge of the 6-yard box. Niko Kovac watches his team run back to halfway. Doku switched off, didn't spot the run down the right-hand side. The cross came in, and Anton, arriving late, poked it home. Ryerson was left all alone down the right. The free kick was sent short out to him. He sent the ball bending into the box, and Anton finished it. That was sloppy from City.
Yeah, and they have been over the last 6 or 7 minutes. They've let Dortmund grow back into the game. They've created opportunities. Jeremy Doku's just switched off for the free kick. He just thinks that it's going to get played wide, and he's able to get there tighter and stop the cross. Well, he hasn't done that. They put a wonderful ball into the area, and Anton has just poked out a leg and give Donnarumma no chance, and Dortmund now feel like they're back in the game.
Well, Pep Guardiola, suit or no suit, was out on the edge of the technical area straight away, giving both barrels to Jeremy Doku, because he felt as if he hadn't picked up his marker, and Ryerson was allowed to escape. And they're coming forward again here with Svensson down the left-hand side. You know how many goals this team have scored. Svensson into the box, wins a corner for Borussia Dortmund over on the far side, and Pep immediately turns to his bench and says, we're going to need something here.
Yeah, well, they've got their tails up, Dortmund, at the moment. You know, whenever you keep thinking they can't do it again, can they? They just turn around and they get themselves back into a game. Well, they've got one, now they're searching for the second.
Well, here's the corner over on the far side. Ryerson to take it, right-footed, right under the goalkeeper, who just about gets there ahead of Carney Chukwuemeka. And on that occasion, the referee spotted some sort of infringement and will give a free kick. But Manchester City, having been cruising in this game, look as if that they have just taken their foot off the gas, and Ryan Cherki is about to come on to add a little bit of control. Bernardo Silva, it looks like, is going to come on for his 100th Champions League appearance, the fourth Portuguese player to do that. And that's happening now. So 2 changes for Manchester City incoming. And that's just a sign that Pep Guardiola thinks that his team have lost control of the match, just allowed it to drift in favour of the away team, who have got one back. 3-1 the score here on Talksport. Preston leads Swansea by 2 goals to 1. QPR 1, Southampton 2 in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday 1-1 with Norwich, and Portsmouth still 0-0 with 15 minutes to go against Wrexham. Wrexham, who beat Coventry on Friday night, live on Talksport 2. Here is Svensson playing the ball in behind, and Adeyemi is galloping forward. He's got men inside the penalty area. Ryerson's at the far post, and he gets a volley on goal, but it's way over the top. It was just too high for him, and he couldn't get his body athletically up in the air to try and keep that down, and it went right over the top of the crossbar.
Well, at the moment, it's too easy for Dortmund getting in behind Manchester City. Adeyemi, on this occasion, finding himself on the left-hand side. You could see when he was looking up, he was searching for one of his teammates, and the only one he could see was Ryerson, who was at the back. So could he have headed it? I'm not sure. I think it was maybe the better option. And these substitutions that Pep are making, they're not the 2 I would actually make, Sam. I think they need defence. Ruben Diaz is on the bench. Nathan Ake are on the bench. I think they need more experience in that back line to see this game out. Bernardo Silva, yes, of course, he'll slow the game down.
Reinders trying to release Haaland. Out comes Emre Can, intervenes, does well. Pascal Gross is on the ball now for Borussia Dortmund. A little touch by Mecha, out towards the right, picked up by Anton. It's 3-1 to Manchester City, but they haven't had everything their own way in the last 10 minutes or so. Just wonder whether or not, like I said to you at the time, those changes, did they happen early enough for Borussia Dortmund? Maybe it might have made a difference a little bit earlier in the game, and it would have given them more time to try and come back. But they have 15 minutes to try and craft 2 goals that will really puncture the atmosphere that was quite lively in here. Ryerson, full of confidence, pokes it down the right. Pascal Gross reverse it. Here's Adeyemi. It hits the hand of Stones, who blocked it and goes towards the far corner. Doesn't go out for a corner. It's cleared away. Referee is going to say now that it did go out for a corner after consultation with the assistant on this near side, and I just wonder whether they'll have a quick look at VAR here, because we saw a penalty similar to this given against Copenhagen when Borussia Dortmund played them. I don't think it touched his hand. His hand was down, but it had touched the inside of his leg.
Well, this is what we've got VAR for, Sam, because with the human eye, there's not a chance you can see any contact with John Stones' hand there. I'm sure we're going to talk about it in a moment.
Here's the corner, so it must be okay. Deep towards the far post. It's headed back by Anton, fisted away by Donnarumma, who has to make a save. Picked up by Doku, tries to relieve the pressure. The pressure is coming one way at the moment, and Borussia Dortmund are piling it on. It's back via Anton to the right wing. It's collected by Gross. His cross is blocked by Vardiol. It's out for a throw. Well, it shouldn't be as dramatic as this.
Absolutely not. I think Pep's panicked a little bit more, because I think he's going to add to those substitutions, and Ruben Diaz is going to be coming onto the field.
Joe Bellingham into Adeyemi, through the legs of Guardiol. Goalkeeper comes, they take no chances. It's away by Reinders. It's a little bit panicky at the back for Manchester City, who are leading by 3 goals to 1. Ball stayed in over on the far side. Savinho not happy. Joe Bellingham has got it. A yellow card for Savinho for acting out over on the far side.
Silly from Savinho. I have to say, the ball did stay in play. He was wanting a foul, thought he got shielded away from it. But these changes for Man City, I have to say, and I didn't think I would be saying this, it can't come at a perfect time because they need to freshen things up. This game has turned on its head, and it's Dortmund who look as if they're going to get the next goal in this football match.
Well, Savinho is being rescued from himself, I think. He's coming off. Rayan Cherki coming on. Doku coming off. Bernardo Silva coming on. Ruben Diaz, who's he going to replace? Well, his number went up about half an hour ago.
Reinders, I think it looks like, Sam.
Well, I mean, even Diaz doesn't know. They got the numbers in the wrong order. Reinders slowly but surely is coming off now. Along comes Ruben Diaz. I think that means that they're going to go to 3 at the back here, Manchester City, just to try and stiffen things up. Stones, Diaz in the middle of them, and Vardiol. Nico O'Reilly at left back, Nunez at right back. It's going to be a back 5. We've seen them do this before. Borussia Dortmund trying to come forward. Cherki's going to come out to this left-hand side. Foden's gone to the right. Silva and Gonzalez in the centre, and Haaland up top. It's 5-4-1 for Manchester City in the closing stages here. We've just hit the 80th minute of the game. Listening to Talksport. Club Brugge 3, Barcelona 3. Lamine Yamal crossing into the box, goes straight into the net. It's all square. Up it goes towards Erling Haaland from the kick out by Donnarumma, collected by Anton, and then out to Pascal Gross. Fabio Silva about to come on for Borussia Dortmund. Scored a really good goal in the Champions League from a tight angle. Picked up by Anton. Out to Gross. Gross round the corner, or if that was over the head of Vardiol. Ryerson was in, but they managed to get it away. Nadi Amy's now causing problems for Vardiol once more. And he's actually done really well, and now there's a chance for Carney Chukwuemeka. Donnarumma has to come out. He makes a really good intervention, not once, but twice. A second slide tackle on Svensson. Absolutely superb from Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Well, he had to get that absolutely spot on.
Foden coming forward at pace. He's got support for Rayan Cherki, who goes down the outside. Chang gets enough on it, then sends it back off Cherki. It's out for a goal kick.
Well, it's just end-to-end now. Well, you have a chance, we'll have a chance. But Dortmund look the livelier, and Donnarumma had to be on the ball defensively to clear his lines because City just all switched off. Vardiol makes a tackle on Adeyemi, and nobody then goes for the second ball. Donnarumma waits in his 18-yard area. The whole back line of City stop, and it gave Dortmund the chance to nearly break through. My goodness, City have they've switched off.
Don't melt. Chukwuemeka into the centre, takes a deflection, comes through to Donnarumma. We saw it so often last season that they'd get into great positions and then things would fall away from them. They're 3-1 up here. They need to hold firm. 9 minutes to play. Victor Osimhen gets a hat-trick for Galatasaray away in Amsterdam. They lead by 3-0. A flick by Gonzalez is loose. Ryerson, Fabio Silva, edge of the City penalty area. Mecha out wide. Svensson takes over. On to Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka tries to find a way through the 2 lines of City defence now that have amassed on the edge of the penalty area as they drop back to try and defend this lead. It's switched out to the right side, collected by Ryerson. He's arcing cross to the far post, is headed by Fabio Silva. Might have been a push in the centre there by the Portuguese. That was always going to be called by Simon Marciniak, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City inside the box away to our right. This thrilling game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football.
Well, you could see the shove. I think it was on John Stones. You could just wait for the referee to blow his whistle. But how much possession did Dortmund have, switching it from left to the right hand side? And Ryerson whipping a lovely ball into the area. Again, Donnarumma was absolutely nowhere, and if not for that shove, Silva should be nodding that one into the back of the net. But after being so comfortable for 65 minutes of this game, it's City now on the back foot, panicking a little bit when they shouldn't be.
Preston up to 4th in the Championship table thanks to a victory tonight over Swansea by 2-1. Southampton lead at Queen's Park Rangers in injury time. It's 1-1 Sheffield Wednesday Norwich. 3 minutes into stoppage time there. There's 9 minutes to go at Frampton Park. It's Portsmouth 0, Wrexham 0. In the Champions League, Galatasaray winning, Leverkusen winning away at Benfica. Draw between Brugge and Barcelona. Inter 2-1 up now against Kairat Almaty. Marseille and Atalanta 0-0, and Newcastle 2-0 up against Athletic Bilbao. Here is Ryerson for Borussia Dortmund into the middle of the City half, and Joe Bellingham challenged by Bernardo Silva, making his 100th Champions League appearance tonight. Guided back towards Emre Can, and then on from Anton as Borussia Dortmund look to build again and come forward. They go backwards instead of forward, though, to just assert a little bit of authority and control. They're trailing here. They need 2 quick goals, and they've only got 6.5 minutes to get it. Lovely pass by Mecha out to the right, so deep and long for Ryerson. And do you know what? Nico O'Reilly did a really good job to get across and stop that from becoming a danger. Omar Marmoush about to come on for Manchester City. Here is Joe Bellingham out to the left, corrected by Chukwuemeka, who darts in right-footed, gets to the edge of the area, went to do a shot but then decided against it, played the pass to Ryerson instead. His cross into the box is flicked away, not once but twice by City defenders, and then Svensson can't keep hold of it. Nunez brings it clear, but it's kept alive over on the far side by Schlotterbeck, who's putting a bit of physical pressure on. The ball bobbles up into the arms of the goalkeeper Donnarumma, and it's back with Manchester City. Full time in the game at Loftus Road. Ian Abrahams.
QPR 1, Southampton 2. Jay Robinson fired. Saints ahead. Their lead was doubled by Leo Cienza's brilliant individual second. There was a goal back for Burrell for QPR. They laid the kitchen sink on Southampton but couldn't get an equaliser. QPR 1, Saints 2.
Nico O'Reilly a little bit late, just a little bit late on Schlotterbeck, the centre-half for Borussia Dortmund. Gets a yellow card as a result of that. We're going to have another change. That change is Erling Haaland, who's being now looked after ahead of a game with Liverpool at the weekend. The first man to score in 5 consecutive Champions League games for 3 different clubs. It was always going to be him. Doesn't care about records, doesn't think he's in the same bracket as Messi and Haaland, Messi and Ronaldo. Doesn't think he's in the same bracket as the top superstars. He says, I'm just Erling from Norway. I'm a humble guy, just get on. I'm the same as I was when I was 14 years of age. But I'm not sure about that. He is a superstar. Omar Marmoush comes on for him. O'Reilly is replaced by Ryan Ait-Nouri, who comes on for, I think that's his first European appearance actually for Ryan Ait-Nouri, European debut after signing for £36 million from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, good night for Ait-Nouri. Nico O'Reilly has done very well. I think Pep's probably taken him off at the right time after that challenge. Don't want him getting another second yellow card before the end of this game, but it's freshened things up for City. And they just need to calm things down and see this game out. Probably not the ending to the game that they actually wanted, Sam, because they were in so much control.
You know, it's that lack of control and composure to see the game out and make it a sort of steadying feeling around the place. It's been a little bit alarming, really. I mean, I wonder how much they would love to have Rodri, who's sitting down behind the benches, not in a tracksuit tonight, but on his Samsung Galaxy phone, just following the events on the Talksport app.
And in the middle of that, taking a selfie.
Header away by Joe Bellingham. Back towards Anton. He clips it up to Silva, flicks it on to Chukwuemeka. Thrust forward by Mecha. Ryerson is going to go in with a goalkeeper who's going to get there. It wasn't a precise pass. And it's cleared away by the Manchester City back line. And I mentioned how important it was last night when I was doing the Arsenal game, actually, to get points on the board in this competition now because of the matches that are coming down the track. City looking to do that, although Chukwuemeka's just turned it over inside the final third. Bernardo Silva trying to add a little bit of control, looks to clear. Foden holds onto it far side, then tries to escape down the touchline. Lovely little bit of skill, but takes it out of play. It's away for a throw-in. City will be going up to 4th. Their upcoming fixtures, Liverpool, then Newcastle, Bayer Leverkusen. Big game on match day 6 on the horizon as well. They take on Real Madrid. Let's go off to Hillsborough. Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday won, Norwich City won. The Canaries end a run of 6 straight defeats. This point more than they deserved, really. Will it be enough for Liam Manning, whose side relied on saves from keeper Kovacevic, and Wednesday misses after Matthias Kviskaren's equaliser to Barry Bannon's first half belter? Sheffield Wednesday won, Norwich won.
Well, I think that Adrian Durham summed it up a little bit earlier on today when he was suggesting that he thought that the Chelsea result was probably the one that would get people irked up the most. Chelsea dropping points after a 2,500-mile trip to Karabakh, and didn't perform particularly well. They're 13th in the table as a result. Maybe Chelsea fans would want to talk to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 0371 722 3344. I think out of everything that's happened tonight, that is the thing that Jamie O'Hara is going to enjoy the most.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I think he might be winding Cundy up tonight. No. I'm sure that's going to happen.
No, maybe I won't listen to it on the way up, actually. Here is Gross down the right-hand side. 3-1 the score for Manchester City. Borussia Dortmund with a late flurry, but nothing more than that. It's picked up by Svensson nudging it back. Infield it goes to Chukwuemeka, one of the substitutes. And Atalanta take the lead away at Marseille tonight, late on in the game. Here is Anton, who scored the consolation goal. That's what it feels like at the moment for Borussia Dortmund. But there is a couple of minutes to go. Oh, what a little back heel by Cherki to release Ryan Aït-Nouri, who runs up to the halfway line, draws a foul, and has a free kick, which will take the sting out of the last few minutes of the game. Manchester City, who came into tonight in a position where they were outside the top 8, are going to end the night inside it. They're about to secure a vital 3 points. It's a little bit different to this time last year, that's for sure. Aït-Nouri down the left, onto Bernardo Silva, trying to steer it centrally, blocked by Emre Can. Collected near side by Ryerson. He draws a foul from Guardiola, and we'll have 4 minutes of added time. If you're Manchester City and you're looking ahead to the weekend, what have you learned tonight about your upcoming game with Liverpool, which is going to be a titanic battle?
Not to switch off, Sam. Don't think that you're in a commanding position where you can just drop down the gears in a football match and think that you're going to cruise to the full-time whistle. And I think that's one of the reasons why maybe we're still second-guessing Man City, and are they the real deal again?
And here's a chance for Cherki inside the penalty area to finish off the victory. Borussia Dortmund guilty of a really cheap mistake, and Ryan Cherki finishes off what is going to end up being a comprehensive victory for Manchester City. Gregor Kobel looks to the sky, a little bit red-faced. Manchester City lead. Chan played the ball out from defence. It was quickly turned over. Cherki ran right the way through the heart of the defence and fired it home. It was far too easy for Ryan Cherki. And Borussia Dortmund have gifted Manchester City a 4th goal in the game.
Well, they've found another one, haven't they? Manchester City and Ryan Cherki. 2 great assists at the weekend, and now he gets himself on the score sheet. Showed a lovely little back heel when he just came onto the field moments ago. But you let him start running in a back line, and the quick feet he has and that low centre of gravity, and when he gets his shot away, yes, a slight little deflection that just takes it away from Kobel in the Dortmund goal, but a beautiful finish. And now City can relax, albeit there's only a couple of minutes left in the game.
Well, you can't give the ball away like that, like Emre Can did, an experienced player, to someone like Ryan Cherki inside your own half. So cheaply inviting pressure. It was a really sloppy ball out from the back by Chan, and Cherki turned it over, grabbed it and just fired it past Kobel. There was a little bit of a deflection, but he wasn't going to get there anyway. And Manchester City now lead by 4 goals to 1. 4-3, Club Brugge are leading Barcelona in the Champions League. Here's Cherki again. Manchester City 4, Dortmund 1 in the Champions League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Stones takes it to halfway. Good for him to get through 90 minutes tonight. It's exactly the kind of preparation that Manchester City, or exactly the kind of result that Manchester City would have wanted. As the ball goes back to Donnarumma, and he clips it out towards the near side. Collected by Guardiola, who's pushing the back by Ryerson. It's going to be a free kick in the left-hand side. Is that goal disallowed in the Club Brugge game? VAR has come to Barcelona's rescue. That might be a 3-3 draw in the end. Nothing came to Niko Kovac's rescue. But I think it's still worth pointing out, Mickey, that, you know, for large parts it's a very good City display. You're not going to have it all your own way against Borussia Dortmund. This is the second time that they've been beaten all campaign.
Yeah, only Bayern Munich's the other side to beat them, and you'd see when they come up against real quality, I think the only way they lose football matches is because the sides who they come up against have got better forward players who know how to score goals, and City have certainly done that tonight. Bayern Munich did that to them a little bit earlier on in the season, and I think that's going to be their downfall, Sam, because you look at sides who are possibly going to finish in the top 8 in this league system that we've got in Champions League. I think Dortmund are probably in the league below, where they're going to have to go through the playoff system. I know they've still got some decent games coming up. Villarreal, Bodo Glimt, Tottenham and Inter Milan to play. But they need to get points on the board, I think, and I just look at the quality. I don't think it's quite there.
Well, you don't come here in the Champions League and get much change. Manchester City extend their home group phase record to 23 games unbeaten. They move into the top 8, continue their winning streak against German opponents at the Etihad, and Erling Haaland has snaffled up another record. Dortmund could score for fun against Juventus, score for fun against Copenhagen and Bilbao, but scoring against Manchester City was always going to be a tough task. They managed it in the end, but the task by that point was far too tall for the side third in the Bundesliga. An accomplished couple of finishes from Phil Foden have helped Manchester City to a victory. Manchester City 4, Borussia Dortmund 1.
Well, before tonight it was Borussia Dortmund who'd scored 4 in each of their 3 Champions League games. Tonight they conceded 4, and they had spells, Borussia Dortmund. This was a decent team that Manchester City have put away. But you have to say, Mickey Gray, Sam's got it spot on. Phil Foden, star of the show. 2 brilliant goals from distance from the England international. Superb.
Well, Adrian, I mean, if you see his first goal, it's absolutely sublime. It's Phil Foden-esque, if you like, and you don't think he can score a better one. But his second goal is actually better. His movement, the tight situation he finds himself on the edge of the 18-yard area, the way he slots it around the defenders again into the bottom corner, but he never looks phased. He knows what he's doing, and when he just graces it into that corner, it's just absolutely sensational. And he put in a stellar performance tonight, Phil Foden. He really did. And I asked that question, Eddie, I don't know, maybe you can answer it as well. How do we get the best out of Phil Foden in an England shirt? Because if he plays like that, he's irreplaceable.
Well, you're right, and we have a lot of number 10s. Cole Palmer's injured at the moment, but he's one, and I think he'd be a lot of people's favourite. Jude Bellingham wants to play there as well. Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Rogers has been playing really well for England in that position. So if it's the number 10 position you're talking about, then there's competition there. Out on the left, maybe an opportunity for Phil Foden. But what will be a surprise is if Thomas Tuchel leaves him out of this squad on Friday after leaving him out last month.
Yeah, well, look, the conversation after the last couple of international games, Adrian, was, you know, somebody's going to get left at home. And I think the one on everybody's lips was Phil Foden. But I think the form that he showed this season, and certainly what we've just witnessed here tonight, how can you leave somebody like him at home? He's got some big decisions to make, Thomas Tuchel. He really has. And I really hope that one of them isn't Phil Foden staying at home, because if he does that, I think it's a huge error, I really do. You've got to find the best position for him. You've got to play him. I don't think he's as effective on the left-hand side. I really don't. I think sometimes he can get away with playing Phil Foden out on the right. But he's in that 10 position. And as you said, there's competition for places. My goodness. You wouldn't want to be England manager taking that pick, would you?
Well, listen, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. He's got to do that, and he's got to get it right as well. Anthony Gordon went off injured for Newcastle tonight. We'll have to check and see how bad that injury is before the England squad's announced. You'll hear that England squad on Talksport on Friday morning. Newcastle have finished. They've beaten Athletic Bilbao 2-0. Headers from Dan Burn and from Joel Linton, one in each half. The Dan Burn one was absolutely ridiculous. We'll speak to Dean Ashton very shortly. But little complications for Man City tonight. You can't say that, even though they've won 4-1, Mickey, that they were totally in control of the whole game.
Oh, certainly second half. I completely agree with you. That should have been a game, that should have been a breeze, and they should have just cruised to a victory and not conceded any goals. But this is what we've seen from Man City over the last season and a half. They look vulnerable at times, and I think when we look at City's back line, that's where I think there's a weakness, Adrian. I know Nico O'Reilly's done very well tonight in that left-back position, but you're thinking moving forward in a huge competition like Champions League football, I think you can get at Manchester City. If you can kind of stop them at one end, you give yourself a chance of winning football matches. But this is Pep Guardiola. This is Man City we're talking about. But I have to say, if they give Liverpool opportunities like that on Sunday, they might actually lose the game. That's the difference between, I think, at the moment, and things will change, Arsenal and Manchester City.
Well, it was a statement win for Liverpool last night against Real Madrid. It was a statement scoreline rather than performance from Manchester City tonight here at the Etihad as the players leave the field. Manchester City winning by 4-1. Time now to pick out man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
So, Mickey Gray, former England international, who are you going for?
Well, some really good performances tonight. I thought Nico Gonzalez was absolutely outstanding, but the 2 goals that Phil Foden got tonight just tips it for me. I thought it was an outstanding performance. Phil Foden is my man of the match.
Is he back to his very best? What we saw when he was Player of the Year a couple of years ago?
Well, you think about the big games he's played in this season. Manchester United, incredible performance. Borussia Dortmund, incredible performance tonight. And when he needs to be called upon, he turns up, Phil Foden. Yeah, I think he's back to his best.
Phil Foden is our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.